All right. Hey, welcome everybody to another BD Boxing Podcast, Open Lines edition for everybody out there. Hope you're doing fantastic. I know I am. A lot to talk about today, let me tell you. We've had a lot of developments in the boxing world. And as always, as it falls on a Friday type of show, we're going to talk about conjectures, we're going to talk about hypotheticals, and a lot of drama going on in the boxing world. Yes, indeed. Before we get down to that, fellas, and before I let you join the panel, because this is indeed your show, please, pretty please, with sugar on top, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, spread the BDA gospel. If you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you can certainly do so with the super chat feature, but also you can join the membership program. That way you get a little bit more bang for your buck. I'm talking about special emojis, badges, and film analysis. But like I said, the most important thing is that you subscribe. Fellas, I had another dream the other day, a vision, if you will, of the coming Crimson Inquisition that will be taking place 50 years henceforth, unless you guys step it up and continue to spread the BDA gospel. All right, fellas? That's all I'm asking. Not too much, is it? In return to avoiding eternal damnation. You fellas think about that? All right, listen. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Ooh, shout out to Mike T for his contribution with the super chat. He says the only thing Haney can beat is an LBC bottom boy's cheeks. Oh, wait a minute, Mike T, come on, man. You can't say that on this type of show, man. Come on now. But anyway, really appreciate it, Mike T. That avatar he's got there of Clint Eastwood. Cracks me up. All right, so shout out to Mike T. Shout out to Joseph Fuller, Marcy D, Eparukua, Soothsayer, Norman Louis, shout out to Norman Louis, Liam Live, S. Gonzalez, Hard Recoil, MMA champ in the house as well, Slum Science, and many more people to come, I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. All right. Enough talking here by myself. Let me show you how you can join the panel, fellas. So as you can see here, we've got the Discord. Now, hold on a second. Why I always get it wrong? That's not the Discord that I'm looking for. Here we go. All right. So we've got Discord, all right? You can join us via Discord. This is the BDA Discord right here. I'm going to be posting the invite right about now here in the chat. So what you do is you join the Discord if you haven't joined already. All you need is a username. I think it's your email address and then a password. That's it. You don't need to verify your email address by going to your mail. All you got to do is username, password, boom, you're in, all right? Once you're in, what you're going to want to do is head on over to the Discord here. And if you go to your left, if you're on your phone, you got to swipe left, all right? Swipe from left to right. And you will see a little something here that says BDA Boxing Voice Channel. All right, see there? I'm highlighting it. There's already 2 people there, MMA champion, Soothsayer. Click on the speaker icon and boom, you're in. All right? Now, speaking of being in, I have also placed the invite in the chat room. I'm going to be continuing to post it during the episode in case new people start dropping by and don't know how to access this. So without further ado, let's get into it, fellas. Hold on a second. Let me just structure this. My OCD prohibits me from leaving this untidy here. Everything's got to be tidy, all right? All right, here we go. Yo, fellas, can you hear me?
And he did.
Yo, what's up, BD?
What's up? We're on the air, fellas. So all that drug talk you were talking about, that mule talk, save it for when we're off the air. All right. How you guys doing? Thank you for being on, man.
Doing good, great, man.
Shout out to Discord. Shout out to the Predictions League. That shit is running smoothly. It's awesome. MMA is the best.
MMA Felipe
thanks.
Too. Let's not forget Felipe, man. Both you guys.
Felipe, man. Shout out to Felipe. You know, even though he's a little lazy, I'm just playing.
Wait, is that because he's, why are you saying that? Because he's Hispanic? Is that what you're getting at?
Nah.
He's Puerto Rican. He's not Puerto Rican. What are you talking about?
We know how those Hispanics do, BD.
Come on, man. All right, listen, let's get it started, fellas. What was it, 2 days ago? We had the Haney Kambosos press conference. Yes, it's official.
2 days ago? You mean yesterday?
Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay, yesterday. We had that press conference. It is happening. It is official. So all those people that were saying that Kambosos was avoiding or Haney was avoiding, nah, it's happening. Now, I want to ask you, though.
Yeah.
I want to start off by asking you, fellas. Well, first, if you want to give your thoughts, because then I got a couple of questions for you. But if anybody wants to go before that, feel free.
Yeah. one quick thing, real quick. I gotta give it up to Bob Arum. Did you notice? Did you hear how Bill Haney said thanks to Bob Arum? It's funny, huh? That Crawford's suing him for being a racist, but Bill Haney is over here.
Exactly. This just adds on to proving Bud Crawford's lawsuit being wrong. How is Bob
Right.
Arum racism? How is he racist if he's getting Devin Haney undisputed, right? How is he
Exactly.
racist, bro?
And especially when people were saying that, he did that Shakur Valdez as a favor, as a nod to the blacks. But now, man, look, man, him and Lou DiBella, hey, they're leaving her in the dust, man.
People have to remember that Bob Arum is of a certain group. Can't really talk about all that much here on BD Boxing.
Yeah,
but you guys know what I'm talking about. He's a certain group. He's got a lot of money. He's old as shit too. So all those little tricks, those racial Jedi mind tricks that a lot of blacks try to play on whites, it doesn't work with Bob Arum. So he's not out there to please anybody. All he cares about is money. Money.
Also, right?
And BDA, if I can, and he did it so classy too, man. He did it like, look what he's doing. Look how he's showing them, like putting it in their faces. Like he didn't need to say nothing. He didn't go on a rant. He didn't make a video addressing anybody. He's putting on the best fucking fights. I do have to point something out though. Let's not forget that whole Crawford Arum thing. It's not just about racism, the lawsuit. It's also about monies that were withheld or promises made that were not fulfilled. It's 10 million. That's nothing for Arum. 10 million is nothing.
That's right. Hey, who knows how much he's got squirreled away in the Cayman Islands or in Switzerland? Yeah, go ahead, man.
BDA, the PBC didn't want the fight. I mean, what's the name? Danny Garcia turned on the fight. You think Spencer's going to take the fight? Like, it's not Bob Arum's fault. He did his best. He put Crawford on pay-per-view. Crawford did bad numbers on pay-per-view.
That's right.
Then, he tried to have him fight Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia declined the fight. Not Bob Arum. They are the one who sent the fight, right? So, I mean, what are you talking about? Like, what is, this accusation saying, oh, Bob Arum did not fulfill my contract, whatever. He tried his best to get through the fights, and the fighters at the end of the day decline. I mean, how is that his fault? Right? And I bet you Devin Haney won't say Bob Arum is racist because he's liking that money that's coming in.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Money changes a lot of options and a lot of viewpoints, let me tell you. Now, in regards to this Kambosos fight, it was interesting because, first of all, I was cringing when they introduced Kambosos for the press conference and they do a pan from his feet all the way to his face while he's holding all his belts. They're playing sound bites from that 300 movie when he's talking about the Spartans and blah, blah, blah. They start playing some music from the 1980s. He walks 3 steps over to the podium and the table, puts all his belts, and then boom, the music is over. So I'm thinking, what the fuck? Did you really need to intro the guy that way? Then Devin Haney...
I think it's getting to Kambosos' head to win. Like, he's a little cocky, in my opinion.
Hey, something else that makes that intro really cringy is there were like 2 people in there. It was the announcer and Kambosos.
What the
bro? But like,
that added to the whole awkward thing, bro. I was the fuck.
I honestly just can't wait till it's all over, man. Once they win these belts, it's gonna be all love from men. You know what I'm saying?
The black goat is here.
Well, let's talk about this. Why does Devin Haney have to have his daddy with him everywhere he goes? It's like, are they holding hands or something? Like, why do you have to have him at your press conference? Like, come on, bro. Are you like you saying, "Oh, I'm a man," but you literally have your dad sitting next to you, bro? Like, come on.
All that. That's his. I mean, at the end of the day, that's his boxing coach too. Like, and they got a real close bond. A lot of boxers do that though.
It's not that bad compared to like Kenny Porter.
But
oh my gosh.
Kambosos' dad is his trainer too. You don't see Kambosos' dad everywhere he goes. Kambosos' dad wasn't even at the press conference.
Now Kambosos' dad is busy beating Teofimo Jr.'s dad's ass.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Now wait a minute. Now, you know what, Ben? MMA Champ brings up a good point. Kambosos didn't have his trainer or father next to him, and father next to him. Meanwhile, that's the other thing. Some people have been pointing that out. When what's his name? Kambosos was condescendingly referring to Haney as a kid. Haney said, "Hey, don't call me a kid. I'm a man."
Yeah, I'm not a kid.
And then But then he's got his father next to him. That's what I'm saying. He's calling him. He says, "Don't call me a kid." But then why do you have daddy next to you? It just looked weird.
Yeah, they had some really good back and forth. Did you remember the one where Kambosos was also calling him out, saying that he didn't own a suit and his dad was dressed better than him?
Oh yeah.
Bill Haney.
That was fire, bro.
Bill Haney put on his best suit. You know, bro. It looks like he got it from the thrift shop.
At the end of the day, it's the calm before the storm, man. We all know for a fact who's gonna win this fight. Devin Haney's gonna bring that shit right back to America, no matter how anybody want to put it. At the end of the day, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know, Chibi. It's the year of the underdogs. You just never know.
That's right. That's a good point, man.
But BDA, I was saying this there like before you joined. It kind of seems like the stars have aligned for Devin Haney, right? You know, Teofimo probably wasn't going to fight him, you know, because even if he won the Kambosos fight, Loma was in position to become mandatory, and Loma, he was going to be fighting Kambosos and stuff like that, right? So now it's like Loma's in the Ukraine fighting, and then Teofimo, he lost or whatever. So now, you know, Haney has really a chance to actually, you know, prove if he's the real deal. So I feel like the stars kind of align like perfectly.
Things and most of the time, that's the other thing. I was gonna do a show on Wednesday, but I ran out of time. But one of the things I wanted to say was talk about all the good things that boxing can offer. Because look, boxing is a chaotic sport, from the rankings to the judging. It's all very chaotic. People love to say, well, it's all subjective. No, it's not supposed to be subjective. But in any event, people love to, there's plenty to complain about when it comes to boxing, but there's also a lot of good, and not for nothing. Yep. But I feel like we spend a lot of time on this show, more than usual, more than the opposite, complaining about the sport.
Yeah.
You know, we miss sight of some of the good things going on, like this fight.
Can I say something about that?
Yes.
Look, I don't openly or typically support colored boxers.
Okay,
Look,
come on,
man,
what the fuck?
Hold on. We want to talk about the good stuff. Hey, I'm acknowledging, man, I was wrong. I really thought he was going to play it like, you know, the rest of them do, and he completely shocked me in a good way. It's refreshing to see this. It finally feels like, oh wow, he might be the champ.
Hold on. Let's rewind what you just said. Hold on. Did you say colored boxers?
Yeah, he did say that, man. What the fuck?
Black. Well, I don't know. What do you want me to say?
He basically said the N-word.
Okay, no, he didn't basically say that. Come on now. Hey, listen, this Open Lines Friday. Let me put the disclaimer here again. That the disclaimer just showing you that the views of these panelists do not reflect the views of the BDA Boxing Organization. But in any event, look, listen. But I don't think Haney was going to be able to live it down if he didn't go to Australia. And that's my other question to you guys. People love to talk about, well, Haney, you know, he deserves props. Thunderdome brought up a good question. Does he really deserve that much props for doing something that you're supposed to do, which is to, you're the contender, you want the title, go get it?
Right? You don't deserve props for taking a fight.
This is the reason why people say... Sorry, go ahead.
I said you don't deserve props to take a fight that you're supposed to take. This is an undisputed fight. If you don't take it, that's a duck. So what do you mean? You're supposed to. All right,
so y'all don't. So let me ask you something, MMA. You don't feel like at all that Kambosos and Teofimo Lopez was ducking Devin Haney?
How is Kambosos ducking Devin Haney if he signed a contract?
Oh, he finally signed the contract. It don't seem like he got caught up in the corner. Like it's like a thing. Like okay, now if I don't fight him, everybody gonna know I'm pussy.
What are you talking about? He signed the contract months ago. You know that, right?
Oh, what are you, bro? The dude literally just said a couple days ago, saying before he signed the contract, he said before I sign the contract, I just got to go over it and make sure it's the right time, right signature, and everything's right on it before I sign the contract. He literally just said.
Kambosos sent contracts out to Lomachenko and Haney at the same time. He sent them all out to everybody. But the only condition was one. The fight happened in Australia. Loma was the first one to jump at it, saying this was during the COVID restrictions still happening in Australia. He said, not only will I sign it and agree to all your terms, but I'll hold camp there. Haney was dragging his feet. Haney eventually agreed once Lomachenko's out of the picture, because Kambosos and DeBella probably figured, all right, let's sit down. Who's going to bring us the most money? That's, I think, what they were most concerned with. First off, in the Loma fight, I think would have drove a bigger crowd. But this one, in the second one down the line, was Haney. It wasn't like he wasn't picking Loma because he thinks Loma was easier. I think he was like, fuck, you get the hardest out of the way. But Kambosos wasn't ducking anybody. Yes, brother.
So if Haney wins the fight, right, and he moves up, will he still be obligated to the rematch?
No.
Okay.
No, and he'd have to dump it. He would have to dump the belts.
Then another reason why we gotta give Devin Haney props, because Kambosos getting paid like $10 million for the fight, and Devin Haney is getting a fraction of that. You know, just to take this fight. You know, he's not even fighting for the money. He's fighting for just to beat him. Like, he wants that belt.
And I think the worst part of that whole deal is the fact that he's got to fight him twice, man, and win decisively. He loses. The house is against him.
But where did that $10 million come into play? I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, for every
Is that what Floyd Mayweather said, PB?
No, man, that's what I just heard, bro. It was in the contract. The contract, Kambosos getting paid $10 million for each fight, so that's $20 million, and then Devin Haney's only getting paid $2.5 million.
Well, for a challenger, 2.5 isn't bad. That's not ripping him off, but I'd be shocked if that $10 million is true. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well, you know what? Listen, there's a lot of money to be made here if he wins those belts, because right now he's not that big either at the gate or, as far as I know, with the ratings. Now, if he's got all the belts, if he's got the Lineal belt, ooh-wee, now all of a sudden we're talking. And that's the other thing. I've been pissing off a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, a couple of people on YouTube, because I said in the when I did a Kambosos Haney preview video, I said that Kambosos is the Lineal champion, because there's no dispute that he's the real champ. And boy, oh boy, some people got angry, telling me that I don't know shit about boxing, that the WBC is a real belt. I'm thinking, come on, man, just because he's got a belt doesn't make him a champion. And I will continue to call Kambosos the Lineal champion. And if these people don't like it, they're free to come in here right now and really try to...
is.
Yeah, I've heard that argument too. Like, they're giving a lot of props to the belt he's holding, and they're saying people, you know, that think that the belt that he has is a joke are wrong and are being basically, you know, assholes.
But the argument doesn't hold water. I mean, BD 100% right, because he is the Lineal champion. And even if you go in there weird ass premise that the green belt is the end all of belts, he still didn't fight anybody for it. He was awarded it. He was offered it, and he took it. You know what I mean? He has it, whatever. It's earned him his fucking shot in Australia. He's stepping up. Props to him. Not props. When I say props, it's more I'm surprised. I didn't honestly think he would fucking go to Australia. Well, I think they held out as long as they possibly could. That was what the whole holdup was trying to get it back in the States, and he did not want it. That's why I'd be surprised, because he had to give up money. Kambosos had to give up some of his money to keep that fight in Australia, and he knew that because he wasn't going to get the site fees. Anyways, so that's what was holding it up. It was not about anybody docking anybody. Haney wasn't docking him. It's all about they were trying to get the best they could for what they wanted for themselves. You know what I mean? That's all it was. But he still took it. So, and he signed with Top Ranks, which was smart, because he knows they'll fucking, well, obviously DAZN. Now think about this, guys. I don't mean to sidetrack this, but this is also, you got to read between the lines here too. DAZN let him go, let him walk out the door. He was working on a fight-to-fight basis. He was waiting for DAZN to step up and do what Bob did and put up the money for this fight. DAZN wasn't doing it. Ask yourself why. Because they were paying him $3.5 million to fight Scrubs, and he just never brought the money in. So they weren't going to do it anymore, I guess. So I guess they just didn't want anything to do with this fight. So that tells you his name isn't that big. Well, so that tells you that was kind of a knock on him, but he was smart to sign with Bob because he knows Bob won't fuck around. If Bob's going to sign you, he's going to obviously work with you. So, but he signed the fucking recall clause. But anyways, it's gonna happen. So
Yeah,
I'm
and then I
happy.
heard, and this is just off the topic. I did hear, which it might be fake. I don't know, so don't take my word for it. I did
Might be.
hear that
I don't know.
after the fight with Gervonta Davis and Romero, that he was supposed to be going to top rank too to fight whoever wins against Kambosos and Devin Haney. That, but
Well, look,
like I said, it might be fake.
Well, this
Don't take
next
my
fight,
word for it.
Yo, Gerber David ain't gonna fight anybody with a heartbeat. Let's be real.
the winner gets Loma.
in an ideal world, that's what would happen. Then again, Lomachenko has to make it out of the Ukraine alive in one piece as well.
Exactly.
So there's
Hey,
that little.
BDA,
Loma posted a video and said he's next.
did you
Well,
did you get that feeling that like the tide turned, like suddenly Kambosos is like the heel character now. He's the villain.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, he's talking a big game, and look, okay, give him props for beating Lopez in one of the biggest upsets, if not the biggest of 2021. But now he's acting like he's had 10 defenses under his belt. The guy's only just recently won the belt. Other than Lopez, his best win was Mickey Bay. So I think he's got to dial it down. But then again, that's what I asked Del Boy earlier when he was doing his show. I said, "Do you think it's arrogance or it's confidence?" And
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to tell which is which. What do you guys think?
Well, he knows
Is
he's gonna
it
lose.
are they
He's gonna
mutually
lose that fucking
exclusive?
belt. He's trying to suck it up while he can. He's doing the same thing. Well, I give him props on this. Teofimo was straight bitch mode, like just straight duck dynasty around this motherfucker. But Kambosos is basically, bro, like he's sucking all of it in right while he can. I'm pretty sure even once he get beat the shit out of, he ain't even gonna do the rematch. Like that's what I think is gonna happen. He's gonna be like, fuck it, I can't hang with this kid.
Bro, Haney's not gonna beat the shit out of Kambosos in Australia, dude. It's not gonna happen, bro.
By the way, shout out to Mike T for his contribution with the super chat. He says Haney has the Pride Rainbow Mac belt. Oh, come on, wait a minute. But shout out to Mike T for his
Haney,
contribution.
dude, he doesn't even have a fan base in the United States, man. On his last fight, when they put him on camera, he was getting fucking booed, bro. I bet you there's more Kambosos fans in the United States than there are Haney fans.
And I'll tell you,
This dude is so weak. He's
listen,
so
and that's
Go ahead,
One at a
Jimmy.
time, fellas. One at a time. One at a time.
well, I was just going to jump in on that because what it isn't even so much what that kid's done. I kind of feel bad from this, but what happened? He took that belt. I mean, sometimes in life you have to have foresight. You have to sit back. Okay, I'm going to get the belt, but what is it going to be like? Did he think that he wasn't going to get fucking crucified on Twitter? Did he not realize the shit he was going to catch? And that's what a lot of that is, especially with boxing purists. They don't like that. Oh, here's the belt because there's a franchise belt. It's like, earn that shit. And a lot of the old timers don't like it. They'll boo somebody who gets a belt that way. So if he does beat him, Kambosos, bang, now he's earned that shit. And you watch, the pride level on him will grow and shit. But he's got a rematch clause. But I just want to also say, shout out to Mr. BDA, man. I don't know if all you guys have seen his latest video. Came out about 8 days ago on a 2021
You're late, man.
shocking moments.
You're
Yeah,
late.
you're way-
No, I know. I've seen it 3 times, so I'm not late. I'm just fucking putting it out there for him.
I don't know, Jimmy.
I
It
want
sounds like
everybody
you,
and
it
anybody
sounds like
listening
you
to
just,
fucking check it out. It's an awesome video.
I appreciate
Great job,
that, Jimmy,
BDA.
but it sounds like you just found out about it, man. I don't know what's the matter with you. Maybe the notifications aren't
Go
working.
read the comment sections, brother, man. I said right in it. I've already watched it 3 times. Great
right.
job, dude.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. Hey, listen, I want to say something about that. The benefits here of Haney, because look, some people are going to give him credit, some aren't going to give him credit, and they're going to say, well, this is what fighters are supposed to do, travel abroad to get that Lineal championship. But whether you agree or disagree with that, one thing that I like about this, and I don't know if it was Jimmy who said this in another episode, but now we're moving away from the Mayweather era where everybody wanted to emulate him and keep that O, and now people are emulating Canelo and trying to get lineal championships. And that's what you're seeing. Look, Andrade, I want to talk about him later on too, but his contract with this Matchroom is coming to an end. He's going abroad again to fight over there. Haney's fighting abroad. People are finally starting to realize, hey man, if I want to make some hard-earned money, if I want to get a fan base, I got to fight the best. This whole thing of going the Mayweather route and just waiting for the golden goose to come across my lap doesn't work. it doesn't work. So that's
No.
why this is a
Thank God for
positive thing.
Canelo, man. Thank
And
God for Canelo.
The main example, look at Gervonta Davis, this tantrum that he's throwing. It's all the signs are there. Jimmy's right.
Yeah, just listen, and it's the face of boxing carries the tune. You know what I mean? Basically, they also set the tempo. And right now, these guys coming up are seeing Canelo. Mayweather's retired. You know what I mean? He did his time. He's been retired for years now. So it's Canelo they're seeing who's the face of boxing. He's the one who says, I fight, okay, you, and instantly you get life-changing money. Like, fuck, win, lose, or draw, I'm buying a Lamborghini. So, fuck it, you know what I mean? There's not too many dudes who can do that. And so when the other guys are seeing that, here's a dude trying to unify. And there's a lot of emphasis on that. I've heard fighters talk more about unification more than I have in years, luckily, but thankfully. And Haney does deserve props in the way that no other American fighters are doing it. Nobody from the PBC is traveling, not since Spence, I think, went over to fucking England. I mean, they just been so, and you can actually see enough time. There's enough sample size to see the PBC try to follow the Mayweather plan. All their fighters, the ones that realized soon, bailed. Jacobs, and a lot of dudes bailed. But the dudes who hung in there, you tell me one whose career. Spence is their biggest name. His pay-per-views have declined steadily. 1, 2, 3. The last 3 have all gone down by increments of 50,000. So that's not a pay-per-view superstar. I'm just saying. The way Haney's doing it is the way you earn respect, you earn your legacy, you earn your cash.
There you go.
Who's his highest pay-per-view?
Wait, hold on. I'm just so I know. I'm just making sure I'm curious. I thought then Terrence Crawford went undisputed first, and then Canelo did.
Yeah. What
Crawford was.
Here we go.
Oh no, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's all I know
Hey,
about him.
GB's been walking around with this dead carcass of the Reynoso era, the Canelo era is dead, and all this. What's up with that, man?
Man, because bro, it's
y'all ain't got nothing. Just because y'all ain't got nothing right now, don't mean that y'all got to shit on.
Martinez is out the window. He just lost,
bro. Just because you don't have anything right now, don't mean you got to come at it like that, bro. You could be part of the fucking. You could be part of the celebration.
Oh look, this is what I'm saying, bro. Look, just hear me out. Martinez already lost. Ryan Garcia left. Fucking nigga, we already know it's gonna happen when Shakur Stevenson put on top Oscar Valdez, John. And then now he's finna. And then Bivol the Rebel gonna end up beating the shit out of Canelo as well. So
bro, you're coming off.
Over. I mean,
you're coming off.
I had a great time. It was great, but it's over now, man. And kudos, man. You feel me? Y'all had y'all era, man. You feel me? It was a shitty era to me, but if y'all liked it, I loved it. Whatever, man.
Well, listen, I don't want to get too much into the Canelo thing, but this guy, shit. Sorry about that. My Discord got fucked up. It's because what happens when I try to share too many screens on the Discord. All right, hold on a second. Am I back? Am I back, fellas? Sorry about that. I dropped out.
You're back, Mr. BDA.
Fantastic.
Oh, man, you missed all that.
Yeah, come on. Am I sounding clear? Am I sounding hot here with the microphone?
You're sounding much better.
Fantastic.
That silky voice is coming through much better now.
All right, now, Jimmy, you stop it right now, man. I can only handle so much bullshit. Now, but listen, I wanted to say something about the Canelo. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into the Canelo thing, but if he loses against Bivol, depending on how he loses, I don't think it's going to impact his bottom line too much. It might impact his bottom if he gets spanked, but in regards to his financial bottom line, I don't think it's going to hurt too much. Now, I want to say something about the logistics. Let's talk logistics here. In regards to making the Haney-Kambosos fight, Haney was talking a lot of desert tongue language during the press conference. Alhamdulillah and Inshallah. And I'm thinking, is that going to be a problem when he's traveling 12 hours on a plane, or what do you guys think? Am I making too much of it, or?
Yeah, he'll probably be a little jet lagged. Then he declined training over there, right? I think they said they offered it to him, but he wanted to stay over here.
Oh, really? No, but what I'm asking is all that, what I'm saying is all that Allah talk going to get him in trouble in the plane or something, is what I'm saying.
I'm curious, like, I may be wrong on this, because I know for a fact, don't when you go, like, you feel me, when you go, like, all right, I'm in Florida, but if I went to, like, Australia or California, when the atmosphere changed and my breathing would change or something like that, like, wouldn't it be smarter for him to go to Australia to adapt to the weather and everything, so he can.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no. It all, you're right on the breathing. It all depends on elevation, though. Say if you where you live, you're at sea level. So say if you went up to Colorado right now, Chibi, and to like run, do anything, play basketball, like say in Denver, you'd be like fucking 10 minutes into it, grabbing your chest, going, "What's going on?" So that's when it affects your breath when you change elevation. What he has to worry about is time zone lag.
Yeah.
So right now, say if you wake up tomorrow, dude. Say right now you're about to go to bed, right? So whatever time you normally go to bed, all of a sudden, the alarm clock goes off, and it's like, okay, it's daytime now. It's morning. Like he's going to go a full, I believe, at least 12 hours ahead. So he's going to lose a whole night's sleep. Or whatever he wants to do. I don't know how they're going to work it out. But if he was to go there like 4 or 5 days out, that'd be stupid. He should go at least 2 weeks out for his body to get acclimated so he doesn't get jet lag, because that's a real thing.
I've made the flight from Virginia to Indonesia before, and it fucked me up. Like it was not pleasant. So
what were you doing in Indonesia,
go
man?
up in time.
If
I
I
was
may
in
ask.
the military. I
you were in the
doing
military.
a mission over there.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck. And then once it gets a hold of you, it takes weeks, people say, to get back to normal. Like if you get into a bad lag. So
yeah, it's
that's
weird.
what I've heard.
Yeah, it happened when I went from Virginia to Sicily.
No shit, huh?
Yeah.
Well, listen, in regards to this Haney fight, a lot of people are also talking about whether Haney can get a fair shake in Australia. And not for nothing, but as I've said before, when Kambosos fought Teofimo Lopez, and he dropped Lopez, 2 judges made it a 10-9 round as opposed to 10-8 or 9-9. Then 2 of the same judges gave Lopez the last round, and that was a round in which Kambosos outlanded him and landed just about as clean as shots as you can in a fight. So it's not about, do you guys agree that it's not about the location, but about the judges themselves and the officials themselves? Because are people making too much of a big deal of fighting in Australia?
I wouldn't say too much. I wouldn't say too much.
I'm sorry, Boxing Chief.
He got to fight where he got to fight, man. He got to go. He got to do the same thing that Errol Spence did. He got to go over there and take that shit. And he knows that's running on the line, because if you think about it, if he ends up losing this fight, then he's going to really become irrelevant. He's not going to become irrelevant to me, but he's going to become irrelevant to other fans. He has no choice but to go over there and take that shit.
Okay,
dude, he won't become irrelevant if he puts in a good fight.
First of all, there's a big difference. There's a big difference. Errol Spence actually had the power to stop Kell Brook, and we're not positive yet or sold on the fact that that Haney can do that based off of his performances against featherweights that have been knocked out in every fight they've had so far, and he can't hurt him. So if he's going up against a lightweight that can actually take his punch, you're right. He still has to go in there and try and give his best fight and his best effort. Bad decisions can happen anywhere. If I remember correctly, Axel Schultz should have beaten George Foreman, and that was a robbery here in this country. So I don't know what dictates the bad decisions and the bad judging, but it happens everywhere. So just because he goes to Australia doesn't mean it's any less likely that Kambosos could have gone over here and performed one heck of a performance and still come up on the short end of the stick. You can't predict those things, and you can't judge your career off of that. Like Chibi said, you got to go in there and try and win it to the best of all the abilities you've got. But I don't know if you just go in there thinking, well, I'm going to get robbed anyway, so you don't even try.
Right. Yeah. So the best way to go about it now, if it's a thing that he ended up winning this fight, right, and he wins in a devastating fashion, and then they still cheat him, like everybody know who the real champion is, and then I guess it's going to be a whole nother, I'm not even going to say it, but we'll know who really won the fight, but but look how they did Pacquiao and Jeff Horn, in Australia. So he's going to have to like really go out there and show like that he does have power, like, because if he don't at least knock him down a couple of times, they might just say, fuck it, it's a draw, just so Australia can keep the belt.
I don't know if that's true.
The problem
though.
he's got facing him. So I'm sorry, BD. Let me say this. That's the problem he's got facing him, because you say if you're going to knock him down a few times, we're talking about 2 featherweights that have been dropped and stopped in every one of their losses, and he couldn't even floor him. And now you're talking about a guy that's naturally his size, that appears to have a good chin based off of what we've seen in the past, from what others have seen in the past, and what we did definitely see against Tio, who can punch. What's he gonna bring to the table on that to try and do what you're saying there?
Listen, people are focusing too much on the power here because, first of all, I think it's quite clear that Haney is not a power puncher, at least compared to the other lightweights in his vicinity. I'm talking Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, even Vasil Lomachenko. He couldn't stop Linares. Now, some people are saying, yeah, but he stopped Abdullayev. Yeah, how did he stop him? He fractured his jaw. It's not like he wobbled him or dropped him and they waved the fight off. He landed a good shot, ended up injuring him, and they waved it off. Now, that doesn't mean he can't hurt Kambosos, but it's going to be I think it's going to come up to the skills. And the only thing, I think maybe people are exaggerating the judge issue. The crowd issue, that might sway the judges. I think that's where it's going to. Every time Kambosos lands or half lands a shot, it could be a problem. But I also want to say something else here. I want to bring up something. Super Anderson Aldo brings up a good point. He says, Haney's getting more credit for fighting in Australia than Usyk fighting all his title fights in enemy territory. That's why. How come you don't hear all these same channels that are praising Haney for going to Australia? How come we never heard them praise Usyk this way? In fact, I think the only thing they did was deride him.
They don't really follow Usyk. They barely know who he is. These channels that aren't doing this, they know who all the fighters in the PBC are. I promise you that. And they know who the American fighters are. Notice I didn't say anything other than the American fighters. They know who they are. But internationally, they probably don't know much about anyway. They don't know anything about most of the fighters down at 115 because they don't follow the entire sport.
Man, that's I don't know what to say to that. I mean, it seems, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, too, BD, because right now Kambosos is obviously the A side in this. He'll be he'll probably have this final say on things like, which is important, is the referee. He'll probably use an Australian referee, or at least get a referee that he knows. You want to pick a referee that's going to let him muck it up. You don't want, what's his name, Mayweather's ref that allows no grabbing. You know what I mean? No minute you get too close. Yeah. Thank you, brother. None of that. All right, get away from each other. I told you guys to stop doing that. But you know what I mean? We don't want none of that. So you want somebody who doesn't give a fuck. Just lets him get in there and lets it get ugly. Work yourself out of a clinch type of official. So the thing is, if Haney was to beat him, he's going to have to beat him outbox him. And if he does do that, doesn't look good for Kambosos in a rematch. Because he's going to lose all those, even though the fight will be held in Australia, Haney will then have the shots of who the referee is and other things. You know what I mean? So,
well, guys, would you agree
how that plays out?
Would you agree that the guy who's done a little bit more holding throughout his career is Haney and not Kambosos?
Oh yeah, of course. I would say Haney's the holder. Haney fades late. He fades late.
Yeah, that's why I want something that you box yourself out.
He can beat him up so bad. He can be beating him up so bad. The man, you feel me? You know, they can just throw in the towel. You know,
which he hasn't been able to do against smaller fighters that did get beat up bad by smaller fighters.
And you know what? Like everybody wants to say that Haney's so good at boxing, bro. But freaking, he was going toe to toe, getting out jabbed in a few rounds by freaking Jojo Diaz, and he's got like a damn near foot advantage on him, like with his hands.
Another featherweight.
That's embarrassing. That's freaking embarrassing. Like I don't hate Haney, but it's the fact that he's so propped up. He's a hype job. He's a fucking hype job.
Unless he pulls this fight off, and then
if he does, I'll give him his respect. I'll be like, all right, I was fucking wrong about this dude. But the fact is, he freaking padded his record in Mexico, fighting freaking ice cream men that they found down the street. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
And then he comes to America and he can't freaking Linares has been stopped or lost 5 times. And he freaking can't get knocked out. Wasn't even hurt by Haney. JoJo was bringing it to him. JoJo's freaking a 3-foot tall hobbit. You know, like
without a punch.
Without a punch. And he was getting hurt. And he was hurt.
In all reality, we gotta give JoJo some props though, man. JoJo is a good fighter in his own right. I mean,
I like JoJo. I'm a JoJo fan, but I mean, you can't like these are facts. He's a little dude. He's small.
He's a domestic level talent.
Chibi, when you have a natural lightweight, he fought as a lightweight as an amateur in Haney. Even though he turned pro at 17, he's a grown man now. And when he's fighting guys that are definitely grown men and are coming all the way up from featherweight, 2 of which, again, have been beaten up every time they lost, and he can't perform that way as the naturally bigger man, these are the reasons why we have questions. I don't doubt he passes my eye test of a jab, hand speed, footwork, and stuff like that, and be able to move his head. Passes all those eye tests, but when things get a little bit different and a little bit challenging late in the fight, when he's supposed to have stamina, and these lighter weight guys who are not in their primes anymore are starting to push him. These are the reasons why we have questions of what he's going to do against a real lightweight. That doesn't mean I think he's going to lose. It just means that these are questions that he better actually answer in this fight.
He has to answer, or he's not going to win.
Even if he loses, if he just freaking fights like a man and doesn't hold like he did against Linares, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll get some respect. You know, it's all it's going to take. But it's just like he's got this false persona about him. It comes across as so fake, and it's hard to like him in this kind of sport where you're supposed to be a raw, real dude. You know, he doesn't come across like that. He comes across as a product.
Hey, by the way, shout out to Nicholas Argyros for his contribution with the super chat. He says, by the way, Linares got TKO'd by a Russian nobody in February. Oh, well, first of all, I wouldn't call Abdullaev a nobody, but he did ended up catching up to Linares in the last round. Linares should really retire, by the way. But shout out to Nicholas for his contribution with the super chat. And it doesn't bode well for Haney that he couldn't stop Gamboa, who had been stopped before, an older, slower fighter. And then he couldn't stop Linares, another older fighter that other people had stopped. But I just want to say something. Regardless of whether he could stop them or not, he did beat him. And are you guys telling me that you will not give him credit for his second professional fight win against Jose Iniguez in Mexico? Look at that. Iniguez was a very short fighter, but he was a beast in there, man. He was renowned in the world of Tijuana as the best bar fighter in that region. So you guys telling me you're not going to give him credit? I'm showing the screen to you guys.
7-21, Mr. BDA. 7-21.
Tacos in the corner over there.
Somebody said that was a local paletero. I disagree with that. But
I mean, look at this. It's 7-21, 5-23, 6-9, 2-4. Let's keep going. It's just like he's fighting these bums, man. They're fucking bums.
I'm gonna give a little bit of credit where credit's due in this situation. You're turning a kid pro at 17. Basically, you calling him bums. He's finishing his amateur career. He's just doing it on a less competitive level.
No, Chief, you're not getting the point, man. This is a guy that's supposedly the next Mayweather. I mean, Lomachenko was fighting Salido in his second fight.
I heard all about it. But
it doesn't sound like you have, man.
Pro at 17, you're not going to put him in with big pride. His body's not done growing yet. He's not going to be able to perform against grown men.
All I'm saying is don't hype these dudes up then, man. If they're freaking building, they're building. That's all I'm saying, man.
Yeah, I'm with you on the hype.
You tell me this guy's the next Mayweather is one of the greatest of all time, right? And you're telling me this dude's the next Mayweather? That's huge. That's giant. Like that should just be thrown around.
I'm a Haney fan, and I'm not even saying that. I think I like Haney.
I'm not saying that about you, Black Chibi, but I'm saying like you go on Twitter or something like that because I know you're level-headed, but you got some people hyping this guy up.
I've just seen all that shit. I seen all that shit too. But like I said, I just honestly I just like his style, and I do think he's gonna win this fight. You know,
his
the only thing
very hard to beat.
There's two things that is suspect about him that I've just seen. Three things. One, his power, of course, mad sus. Two, you remember when he got rocked at one time? You feel me? You know, so his chin is pretty sus too as well.
What?
And then three. I'm talking about Devin Haney when he got rocked.
Yeah,
how was that a sus chin?
That is the sus chin. He got rocked.
Yeah, he got rocked.
By Jorge Linares.
Chibi's right.
Yeah, he was holding on for dear life. I mean, like he made it, but like I said, he was holding on for dear life. And then another thing,
he got knocked by a guy with 30 knockouts. He got hurt by a guy with 30 knockouts.
Let Chibi finish.
And then another thing too that I noticed about him as well is and I noticed it when he was fighting Jojo Diaz, when he got to like the 8th, 9th round, he started to show a little fatigue, you know, and I started to get worried, like, oh man, he might end up losing this fight. So those are just things that I am sus about it. But when it comes to Kambosos, I don't see Kambosos winning this fight unless he gets robbed.
If this was in America, I'd be with you. But the fact that it's in Australia, I don't see him getting outpointed, but he does have the ability to do that for sure.
Well, I mean, even in America, it's like Devin is kind of like he's like Paulie Malignaggi, dude.
Paulie Malignaggi, come on now.
Yeah, he hits harder than Paulie.
No, that's a stretch. You can't act like that's not a stretch. Paulie Malignaggi.
And I want to say, and I like to say on his to Haney's defense, on his behalf actually. You hear a lot of people, and he does lose steam at the end, but it's not because he's not training as hard. The thing is, when he's big for lightweight. His frame, he cuts a lot of mass. The thing is, when you're big like that, that's a lot of muscle and oxygen to burn to go through all that muscle. And when you've already shed, he probably cuts 5, 6, 7 pounds of solid muscle off. What happens? You get fatigued easy. A little guys who fight in weights, that's the reason why they don't do 15 rounds anymore. These guys couldn't because they starved themselves into wrong weight classes. Like if there was same day weigh-ins, Haney would be probably, I would probably say most likely welterweight, or at least no doubt 140. So that's the reason why that dude sucks wins at the lates in fights. And a lot of these big guys, you hear the same thing about Errol Spence. You say he doesn't stay as fresh late in fights. A lot of the big guys who stay in that division a little too long.
Yeah, agreed.
But to be fair, though, like Haney throws a lot more punches after round 8 than he does before like that round. Like if you look at the Jojo Diaz fight, before round 8, he was averaging like around, I think 45 punches. After that, at like round 12, he threw 70.
He had to defend himself though, because Diaz was coming on.
Yeah, that too. So a lot of the times when he's fighting these guys, a lot of them start having their second wins, like Jorge Linares. They start throwing more and actually try to fight back. But in the beginning stages of his fights, he pretty much dominates it. I'd say that.
He's like Sean Bay Mitchell. He has stinging power, not power, but it keeps you honest for like the first anywhere between 4 to 6 rounds. After that, it kind of goes off, and then his pattern goes off. There's no variety after a while. This is why I call him vanilla. It's not the fact I don't like him. It's just the fact that I don't see Devin Haney and look at anything that I haven't seen before. I look at Lomachenko at things I haven't seen before. Growing up, I was too young to know if there was anything unlike Camacho before I saw him. But I didn't see too many things like him at his best after that. Ray Leonard, same thing. When I look at Haney, I don't see things different.
Hey, let me give a shout out.
Who can we really compare Haney to, though?
Let me just give a shout out to Mike. Let me just give a shout out, fellas, please. Let me just give a shout out to Mike T for his contribution with the super chat. He says Haney was fighting the local chicletero. Oh, the guy that sells gum in the streets of Mexico. Shout out to Mike T. And then shout out to Nicholas Argyros as well for his contribution with the super chat. He says Haney gets hit way too much to be the next Floyd Mayweather. Absolutely, yeah. He doesn't have the same level of. I mean, listen, that's nothing to be ashamed of.
Hit a lot too at junior lightweight.
But hold on, Boxing Chief. Let me just say this. There's nothing to be ashamed of not being. That's like if you have a Filipino guy and go, oh, he's not the next Pacquiao. Well, those guys are 1 in a million. So let's not act like they're supposed to come every other generation.
Haney's opponents do land less at a percentage than guys like Gervonta Davis. Like Gervonta gets hit a lot more than Devin does.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. That's going to be the big question because Kambosos, people say, well, he doesn't hit hard enough to knock him out. He doesn't have to knock him out. He drops him. He gets Haney's respect. I mean, he dropped Mickey Bay. He dropped Teofimo Lopez. He can crack. The guy can crack. Yeah. We haven't really seen Haney dropping people or scoring flash knockdowns with his power. And that's the thing, though, guys. I can't stress this enough. If he wouldn't have been able to stop Gamboa and that's it, okay, fine. But he couldn't stop Gamboa. He couldn't stop Linares or even drop him. 2 guys that had been stopped before. Older guys that had been stopped before. Was that?
Linares was knocked out 2 rounds. Was knocked out in the second round. Wasn't it the fight before he fought Haney? And then he was knocked out again right after. He's been knocked out like 5 of the last 6 fights, all sandwiched around Haney. No, it definitely did not bode well for him that he couldn't even rock Linares.
It was a first round knockout. Win streak, and there was like people. He was expected to fight Ryan Garcia after the 2-fight win streak that he was going on, but then Ryan didn't fight him, and then he went after Haney, and then that's what happened. And after that, he went against a guy that Haney broke his orbital bone and got knocked out in the 12th round too.
So I don't understand. What are we talking about now?
I think the Garcia fight would be way easier for Haney than this Kambosos fight.
Garcia?
Yeah, I think Garcia would be easier.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Garcia.
He doesn't really move his head much, you know what I'm saying?
He does fight with his chin out there. And there's a lot of unanswered questions to the fact we haven't seen him in a year.
Hey, you know what, man? Supposedly, I wanted to ask you guys a question about that. Garcia was, he's training with Goosen now. And somebody brought this up to Garcia, so he didn't bring it up, but he did address it. And he goes, "Hey, I hear you're breaking jaws in training." He goes, "Oh, you know about that? Huh? Yeah, I've been sending a couple of people to the hospital." I'm paraphrasing here. But he said something along those lines. So supposedly he's sending sparring partners to the hospital. Guys, what do you think about that? Do you think what happens in the gym should stay in the gym, or what do you think?
Yeah,
I think I think it's just to amp him up. They do this with every fighter. They're beating up their sparring partners, which make no sense because sparring partners are supposed to get you better.
Okay, so you're slapping up a couple bombs. Your fucking relations, bro. Like what? Like, I can literally go to the store and slap a couple people. I know I can whoop. Like, come on. When I was in the boxing, I seen people do that shit all the time. They want to fight somebody who just started coming to the gym and then beat the shit out of them. You feel me? And break his spirit, man. You feel me? Like coaches lose money off of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. I gotta rewind that. I wasn't hearing you. Rewind. Hold on, Chibi, you gotta rewind that. I didn't hear you properly. Did you say you used to go to 7-Eleven and beat people up? What are you, Shakur Stevenson?
But literally these are something and just slap people around. Just to do it.
You're talking about fucking gym warriors, dude. Guys looking to fucking get a fight in the gym. No, these are paid sparring partners. These aren't dudes he's supposed to be breaking their jaw. He's hitting too hard. He shouldn't be cracking them that fucking hard unless these guys are chumps. But another thing, you can tell a kid trained in his garage and he fucked around with the Riosos. He's like, he has no gym etiquette, like a normal gym, just gym culture. They wouldn't talk about it. You don't fucking badmouth your sparring partners ever. You just don't do that. Because remember, they can get you. They're there when you get knocked down, too. If you don't respect them, they won't respect you.
Yeah, what's up, MMA champ?
Then again, Ryan Garcia does have.
Hey, hold on. MMA champ had the floor, man. Go ahead, MMA champ. What?
I sent you a video of Linares saying that Haney can't punch.
Yeah. By the way, that was a low blow from Linares because when he was with Haney, he was like, yeah, you're good, blah blah blah. They're friendly. And then when Haney's out of the picture, he's like, he can't crack and this and that. And like, I thought it was a little low.
No, this is right after the Haney fight.
That's what I'm saying.
But but that's not his way. He's going to have to outbox him. If everybody's hoping him to go in there and spark out Kambosos, if that's their game plan or that's what they're banking on, man, I hope you got money to lose.
So let me ask you, do you guys feel like because it's in Australia, it's a 50-50 fight?
On paper, but at the same time, I do remember when Jeff Finnick had beaten Azuma Nelson clearly here in the States, got robbed with the draw, went back to Australia and got knocked out. Now, given Haney can't punch like Azuma Nelson, but I'm just saying when the pressure was on him by entertaining his home country and his hometown and his home city and everything else, he choked.
And talking about intestinal fortitude, that's what I'm banking on with Kambosos, not banking on, but that's what I'm crediting him for. We haven't seen Haney. Haney's always gone against whether these guys hasn't stopped or not. These are guys he's supposed to look good against. You know what I'm saying? So this is the first time he's going against someone who's a live dog. And this fight might come down to intestinal fortitude. And that question's been answered. I've seen that kid fucking Kambosos with his fucking head all knotted up and his chest burning and having to fucking hang in there. You know what I mean? I haven't seen that from Haney. He hasn't been in the fight to have to do that. That's my biggest question with him.
And there's the difference between, so he got cracked good against Linares and he finished the fight. Okay, more power to him because he did win. But that was more surviving than it was showing his guts. That's not. But
Linares sucks at finishing.
Oh, wait a minute.
He was on Clear Street for 2 rounds. Like he couldn't. It was pathetic.
I'd say 1.5 rounds. The rest he was just trying to just get through it.
And Linares didn't even jump on him. You know what I mean? Most guys would have jumped on him. Linares was letting the ref break it up. He wasn't just. But that's Linares, man. He's a boxer. He throws combinations. He's great, but he's not that type of dude. If Kambosos rocks him like that, believe me, he's going to jump right on his ass.
So all in all, who do you personally think who's going to win then? I'm talking to Jimmy.
I haven't really dissected it yet. Really, I don't want to put out. Right now, I'm leaning with Kambosos, but doesn't mean I'm going to fucking discredit Haney. I'm not one of those dudes. In fact, his stock in my eyes could go up if he goes out there and puts in a dogfight and say loses by a couple of rounds. I'd fucking be the first one to ask, to get a picture with him. Like, fuck, good job, champ. You know what I mean? Came to Australia, you gave it your all. You shouldn't, you know what I mean? That should be something that should be respected. So,
let me get official scorecards boxing
I would be
here.
leaning with Kambosos right now.
Let me get official scorecard boxing's thoughts in on this. Official, what do you think? Who would you pick right now if you had to?
Yeah, thank you. Same as Jimmy. For right now, I mean, before doing any film study, etc., I would have to favor Kambosos. But let me tell you something. First of all, Chibi, his fighter is leaving his neighborhood for the first time in his life, so Chibi is scared because of it. Meanwhile, many other fighters been fighting on in the other countries. And nobody was mentioning that, like we said about Usyk. Now, let me tell you why I do believe that Haney, in fact, may win, may have a decision in his favor if he survives. We'll talk about Pacquiao and Horn, but there's also a serious theory to consider that maybe it was Bob Arum who green-lighted that fight to go in Horn's favor because he didn't want that bout on Pacquiao.
Yep.
And second, yeah, exactly. And the second thing is, remember, Haney is not with Hearn anymore with Matchroom. In fact, I heard from Thunderdome that he's with Top Rank now. So it's very possible. I may be betting on Haney, just like a value bet, to get the decision. Don't be surprised with that scenario. Even if it goes to distance and Kambosos deserves the victory, that it goes to Haney. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Very interesting.
No, and in all reality too, I want to say, everything that y'all been saying today, I can agree with you guys because I'm saying I can agree with you guys because how you guys looking at it, you're like, well, okay, yeah, Haney's a great fighter. We're not taking nothing from him, but then who has he fought? He fought good fighters, but he couldn't get them out. Like, you guys are giving out real good points through this whole debation.
Well, can I say that I don't think there's that much of a difference between each guys' records because Haney has good wins over Linares, Jojo Diaz, Abdullayev. That could be considered a good win. And although Kambosos doesn't have as many as decent wins as Haney does, he does have one that trumps all of them, and that's the Teofimo Lopez. And I've been hearing a lot of people saying, well, Teofimo Lopez wasn't right in the head, blah, blah, blah. I mean, look, just like Teofimo Lopez said about Lomachenko, if he stepped in there and he wasn't 100%, whose fault is that? It's the same thing with Teofimo Lopez. So it was the guy stepped in there. I'm still skeptical about this whole injury, having a tear in his esophagus or lung or whatever it was. I mean, you cannot fight 3 rounds like that, let alone go 12. So either he's superhuman and he's got the Lord on his side, the true Lord, or he's bullshitting about this. That's what I'm thinking. So remains to be seen, man. And by the way, I want to
another thing too. And in all reality too, we got I'm not trying to discredit Kambosos, but if Teofimo would have really fought the right way through that fight and not try to just get him out of there, I don't think he would have knocked him down.
Yeah, that's an interesting point right there, man. But I mean, who knows if that's why it would have behooved Lopez to have a rematch against Kambosos, but he said he doesn't want one. He can't make the weight. And speaking of the Lopezes, as you remember, last week the Lopezes gave an interviews and again complaining. They're talking about conspiracies against them now. Everyone was against them for what reason? I don't know. But now Teofimo Lopez Sr., I think he did a second interview. I don't know where this is from, but he was saying the only way you can beat my son is when he's unhealthy. Then he said that Kambosos fake. He's a fake dude, bro. He's a fake dude. Then he said, now we're with Top Rank. Everything is good and I'm happy. Bob Arum said nothing changes. Everything stays the same. which I think he's talking about the contract. He didn't lose any of his sponsors. We just need to make a big comeback, he said. 140 pounds is ours. And then he said, we want him to be at 100%, talking about his son. He's been fighting hurt since the Loma fight. And he's had an injury before the Loma fight, the elbow injury and the wrist injury that he had before that. We didn't get any surgery or anything like that because we were going to fight Kambosos right away. And then Triller kept changing the dates. But then check this out. He goes, I'm not going to make any excuses. He just gave you 30, 40 excuses. And then he goes, but no excuses. Guys, is it safe to say that the Lopez train has come to a halt for the meantime?
Well, I mean, pretty good.
Lopez is good.
Boys, man. Who cares?
I think Lopez, if they had a rematch, Lopez and Kambosos, I have Lopez winning.
Really?
I mean, not at 135.
Yeah, 135. Yeah, I have Lopez.
I don't think he can make the weights. Why I'm saying not at 135. So if they were they're doing a catch weight or a 140, then yeah, I would favor him. But at 135, even being the max weight they can weigh, I don't think that Lopez can healthily make that weight anymore to where he can win that fight. And it would be more of the weight issue in the rematch than it would be of one fighter being better than the other.
Does Lopez have a nutritionist, or is it just his father?
Yeah, his frame is just too big. His back, he just can't. There's no way, and he knows that was one of the reasons he wasted himself. If he could even remotely make 135 safely, he would be going after those belts because Kambosos is an easier target than the guys at 140.
And let's say something else. Like Jimmy hit a point there. When a nutritionist can only get you so far, when your body can't healthily function at a weight because you're burning too much muscle, it doesn't matter what you're eating after that or what your cardio is. Your body's not going to be able to perform because the amount of muscle, carbs, and everything else it's going to need in order to perform right isn't there because you can't make the weight.
Just like Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor said he looked like a beast before fighting Jack Catterall. Now he has to move up.
Hey, speaking of Josh Taylor, did you guys see the comments he made? I think he tweeted out. And he said he rewatched the Catterall fight and he had himself winning 113-112.
You know what's funny? I have Taylor winning too.
Oh my god, bro! I'm so fucking done, bro. Like, I was really like,
whoa, Chibi. Somebody else was talking. Give it just a second.
Sorry,
I had Taylor winning too,
bro.
I did. I'm being 100% honest. I had Taylor winning as well. Yeah, I had him winning. I think by hold on, let me see. I remember having the scorecard. I rewatched it like 2 times. I think it was 113-112 or 114-112.
I can say this when it comes time to decisions you don't think are right. Most of us on here will probably say that Tommy Hearns was supposed to beat Ray Leonard in the second fight. I watched it the other day and watched it on mute, and I didn't have it that way. When you take around distracting factors and you isolate, now I don't go back and do the slow motion thing because since judges don't have that advantage, I don't put myself in that situation. But when I isolate out everything else but just watch the action of the fight, I actually had Leonard winning that fight. And I have not rescored the Josh Taylor fight yet. So when I go and watch it on mute and not watching it for entertainment, I'll let you know what my score is. But I'm not thinking it's going to be anything. From what I've been hearing and what I saw from highlights, it's going to be like a drastically different scorecard than what I saw it the first time.
The fight was very close. I think what screwed them over was the point deduction, really. Because one round where Josh won, he what's his name? Catterall got a point deduction, so it turned it from a 10-9 round to a 10-8 round.
Yeah, listen, some people, the reason why I brought that up is because somebody else retweeted that and they said the fact that he himself had the fight that close means he lost the fight, meaning he's going to give himself extra points because he's the fighter rewatching that fight. Listen, it was a very close fight and it's not going to get rematch at 140. Yeah. But the thing about Taylor is, look, I hate clinching as much as the next guy, and Catterall did his share of clinching. But the clinching didn't have anything to do with Catterall snapping Taylor's head back with lead left hands and Taylor not being able to do anything to stop it from a defensive standpoint. I think Taylor, I don't know, man. The guy's got very good skills, but the skills are not what make him pound for pound. It's the skill set he's got combined with his body punching, his power, and his balls. Other than that, I think it's safe to say the skills aren't pound for pound elite by themselves, what I'm saying, by themselves. But he's a very good fighter, don't get me wrong. And maybe at 147 with a little more meat on those ribs of his, maybe he gets healthier and he looks even stronger at 147.
Yeah, I thought he was weight drained in that fight. If you look at his face, in the weigh-ins, dude, holy crap, he looked like a ghost.
He looked a little messed
And
up.
at the end of the day, one thing I am grateful for with this, with what's been going on, I'm just glad, like, so far, like, this is my favorite boxing year so far because everybody's fighting, man. And I like it, bro. You feel me? Like, everybody's fighting good fights. You know, we got the Castano and Jamel, Shakur Valdez, Canelo Bivol. You feel like all these good fights are happening, and then now the Haney and Kambosos fight. You know, I'm just grateful that I am alive to see this shit because I never thought that that their fight. I thought they were just gonna duck Haney. That's what I thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I really thought Kambosos was gonna take that fight.
What? You thought everybody was gonna duck Haney?
Yeah, people are. Let's be real. Ryan Garcia, Jojo Diaz, Javier Fortuna, 3 people that ducked Haney. We can all agree on that.
No.
Ryan ducked Haney.
No.
That's the bottom tier guys.
Haney and Ryan.
He probably did. Ryan
was
ducks a lot of people. It's not like special that he ducked Haney.
Jojo Diaz ducked Haney too.
But he fought him.
He ducked him. But I mean he was forced to it because he was, for some reason, I don't know why. Why are people having interim defenses?
I know it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say he ducked him when he ended up finding him in the first place. I mean,
he took a Ryan Garcia fight after Javier Fortuna win. He should go straight to the champion.
But he's not. Come on. Can we stop? Please let's stop calling. Please let's stop calling Haney. Please let's stop calling Haney a champion. I mean, I got to tell you, this is the only sport where you got multiple champions simultaneously. It doesn't happen in the NBA. It doesn't happen in the NHL. It doesn't happen in the MLB. But in boxing, you got 6 people at a time, at the most, simultaneously holding belts, and they get to call themselves champions. That's insane to me. The fact that we're here talking about these belts as if they matter, we're just perpetuating the lie, man. Let's stop perpetuating the lie. How's he a champ? Tell me.
He got
the WBC champ doesn't matter.
There's 2 WBC.
They stripped Loma from him and they gave him another title.
They never stripped him.
They didn't strip him.
Loma vacated.
So there's 2 WBC champs. So there's 2 WBC champs. How can there be 2 WBC champions?
The franchise championship is not a champ. It's actually a designation.
It's a designation.
So there you go.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm.
All right, listen, dude.
Jimmy. Allow me to please. That's what I'm saying. By the way, please mute your mics if you're not talking because I hear a lot of background noise. It's a designation. I don't care what it is. It just goes to show you that these championship organizations are in it for the money. That's why they come up with the diamond belt. They come up with the interim super belt, this and that. And it's just to make money. So you can't trust them. You can't trust their ratings. You can't trust their decisions. So just because a guy has a belt doesn't make him a champion. That's what I'm trying to get through here to people is, as boxing fans, we like to complain about, these fights are being stalled, blah, blah, blah. Well, a big part of the problem is these alphabet organizations. We're giving them power by legitimizing them. If we could all stop legitimizing them, we'd get somewhere. And I know it's difficult because then you go, well, who do we trust for the ratings? Right? And I understand that. But the first step, please let me finish, fellas. Let me finish, please, because I haven't even finished. You guys are already jumping on everything I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I know it's not easy, but it's the first step to trying to get some clarity here. That's all I'm saying.
So which belt should we not recognize?
Are you simply saying you should? All right. So then, wait. Let's just start a new thing right now. If you're not undisputed, then you're not champion. Yeah, you want to just start that movement?
It just needs, every belt needs to have one designation, not a silver champion, not a anything. But I just gotta because he said it, and bro, you've been on the show before on this panel, and you repeat the same thing. You can't, and when all the facts come out. And then you don't say that, and then the next week you're back saying it again. He didn't give up. Lomachenko didn't throw the belt away. When they gave him that franchise designation, that was higher than Haney's belt. Only thing that mattered was Haney, by taking that belt, could not use it to invoke a fight with Lomachenko. And they knew that going in, they still took it. But that's number one. So But number two is you keep. Well, I don't care if you disagree. That's what happened. Those are the facts.
That's true.
You can have your. No, it's the facts. All right, listen. The franchise belt was a designation because of what he accomplished, bro. I don't care what your feelings are on it. That was what the whole reason for it.
If the
For Christ's sakes, dude, it ends. Yes, listen, but it ends with him when he lost to Lomachenko. Here's the problem with the franchise belt, because you can't really pass it on to the next person because it was a designation belt. He knew that when he signed for it. But what that designation does, was anywhere he now goes, he can become he gets first jump at the WBC belt because he was named a franchise champion. That's the reason why he took the designation. And to say that Haney taking the belt that he's giving away to take a belt that's considered better is ducking Haney, and he threw the belt away to avoid Haney, is absurd. That's not what happened. And second thing, you always were talking about these guys who, how come they didn't fight, force their contendership? How come they didn't force their status and fight Haney? You're mentioning all these second tier guys. How come Haney never forced his status and took on any of the other guys, champions who've won and fought for their belts?
Okay, let me respond to that. First, if the franchise belt is so much better, or if it's greater than the WBC belt, how come the franchise champion is able to challenge the WBC champion? Wouldn't it be the other way around, similar to how the super belt and the regular belt,
No.
the regular belt can
Bro,
challenge?
it's not up to
How can
you.
you be the
It's up to the
best?
sanctioning body.
Can I finish?
It's not up to you.
How
It's
can
up
you
to the
be the
sanctioning
top?
body.
How can you be the top dog?
Bro, it's not up to you. It's up to the sanctioning body. They make
Yeah, the
rules.
sanctioning body recognizes that the WBC championship, the world one, is actually a world championship, and the franchise is a designation. That's
No.
it.
What they recognize is that the franchise championship is elevated above the world championship. They recognize that.
When has he ever said this?
Hold on. Stop speaking, bro.
Oh
They
my
recognize
God.
Dude,
that
I
the
let the dude
franchise
talk. I
is
didn't
the
even
super.
interrupt him.
Hold on. They recognize that the franchise belt is equivalent to the super belt versus the regular belt. That's their words.
False.
That's not me
That
just
is
picking
false.
Exactly.
If that,
That
no,
was
no,
the
if,
fu-
wait,
that's what he
If
said.
that's the case, then how come the WBC franchise champion can challenge the WBC world champion? No, wait, hold on.
Listen,
Let me finish.
you can't ask questions. Your questions don't change the fucking facts, though. You can say, but how come this and how come that? It doesn't change nothing. They offered
They
him the
never stated
franchise. It was the ultimate belt. It is
They never
higher.
said it was the ultimate belt.
Oh my God! Yes, they did.
When,
dude? Okay, wait a minute. All right, stop, dude, for a second. So Lomachenko, you won that belt, okay? You won, but listen, we're gonna give you a belt that's lesser than that belt, dude. You sound like a fool. Will you stop?
Dude, you didn't.
Jesus fucking Christ!
I let you talk without I didn't interrupt you at all. I let you
because you don't make any sense, dude. Every week you come back with the same bullshit.
If the franchise championship is the super belt, how can the franchise champion challenge the world champion? That
he can challenge anybody he wants. He's the champion. You're answering the same question.
You know
yes, because he's the franchise champion.
You don't challenge people. You defend your belt.
Oh my God, no, that's bullshit. You can fucking ask the champion.
Right.
You can choose opponents.
You know what's funny? That the WBC gold belt has the same function as the WBC franchise belt.
You know what's funny?
Let me finish.
No, it doesn't.
WBC
No, it doesn't.
Wait. The WBC gold is allowed to challenge the WBC super. Same as the WBC franchise is allowed to challenge the WBC world.
But they can't change weight classes and be first in line. He can change weight classes as a franchise. He goes up to 140 and jump in line because of that franchise tag. If he never had lost, that was the idea behind it.
How can that? That does not mean he's the top dog. Again,
hey guys, can I say something here? 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 Can I say something? The fact that you guys,
yes, Miss
the fact that you guys are trying to make sense of this just proves my point that these alphabet organizations are so hell bent on money and getting their paws and their fangs around boxers' necks to feed off of their finances, that they come up with this ridiculous stuff, and then we got people here on this panel debating this. Guys, this just proves my point. Don't pay attention to these alphabet organizations. And by the way, Texas Bulldog says, if the belts matter for Canelo, they matter for Haney. That's another problem right there. People that go, well, Canelo, his legacy secure because he's undisputed. Well, listen, at least he beat almost everybody except for Benavidez, at least. But to me, if they take away all his belts, it doesn't diminish what he did because the belts don't make the fighter. it's the other way around. So as much as I enjoy this discussion about, well, who's the real WBC champ? Is it the franchise or is it the guy holding the other belt? It's like Butch saying in the chat, say no to belts. Let's start denouncing this. Let's start. Let's wait. Because can I say something about that?
You're smart.
Can
I was going to ask.
Let me just say this too. Let me just say this. A little history lesson. I think I forget which year it was, but Ring Magazine, before they were owned by Golden Boy Promotions, started this in the early 2000s. They said, you know what, it's getting out of hand. That was when the WBA started the Super Champ moniker thing. They said, this is getting out of hand. What we need is to change it up. And they started their own rankings and they started the Ring Magazine belt. Unfortunately, Golden Boy then purchased Ring Magazine. And a couple of years later, they said, oh, you know what, let's recognize the belts again. So that was a problem. It took a step back. And I think ESPN, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they recognize the belts as well, whereas before they don't. So like I'm saying here, I'm adamant about this. We can't do it half-assed. It's either all the way or not at all. Stop paying attention to these belts. Stop paying attention to these belts. Go ahead, Jimmy. Yes, Jimmy.
But I just want to ask you a question, Mr. BDA, because you're a very level-headed person. You'll stay level-headed. You're Lomachenko, right? You're fighting everybody. You're winning these belts. The WBC calls you. Now, you're Lomachenko and asks you, hey, Lomo, do you want to give up your WBC belt? We made this franchise belt. It's not as good as the WB one that you have and you fought, you won. We want to give that to a kid who hasn't fought anybody. But with this franchise belt, that isn't as good as the one that you already have, you can go and fight people at other weight classes, but you're no longer the real WBC champion. You're giving that up to Haney. On its face, does that sound ridiculous?
Yeah, I mean, it's the alphabet organizations.
Stop it. Hold on. That's a straw man. Let's be real here. What weight class?
Straw man. You're saying what?
What weight class is Lomachenko going to? He said 135 is the most.
And yes, and he could drop back down. Let's stop. And he's also said he plans on. The only reason why he's keeping him out of 130 is because there's nobody there who'll fight him. He says he could still easily make 126. So that's the reason why somebody like Lomachenko, who's proven to go around weight classes and doesn't really belong to 135, would go back down to 130. So that's why he would take that designation, not to go up.
No,
I said up. That was my words.
Unification.
All right, here's my question to you guys.
But if it's for unification, that means it's a bigger belt. I just asked Mr. BDA.
So we can skip the mandatory.
Oh my God, dude! All right, brother. Yes, okay.
Hey, listen.
I'm sorry you don't want. So it just doesn't. The facts don't coincide with your feelings.
I got a question. I got a question.
I stated the rule book.
I got a question. Who's the lineal champion? Who's the lineal champion? Lightweight champion?
Kambosos.
Okay, so why are we? I know it's Open Lines Friday. We like the drama, but if we all agree that Kambosos is the lineal champ, why are we haggling over WBC designations? Let's fuck them.
It's the same hate towards Lomachenko that they do. It's just the constant bullshit.
I never said Loma ducked Haney. I said JoJo Ryan. I said JoJo Ryan.
Haney needs to fight better competition.
JoJo didn't duck him, dude. He fought him. Like, I don't understand what you're going at.
I know.
Or explain this. Why did JoJo Diaz take a Ryan Garcia fight when he was the interim champion?
Think about it. You
Doesn't
have
matter.
You have a Mexican fighting a Mexican. Two popular Mexicans fighting. You're gonna make more money, bro.
And by the way, here's the other thing we're missing. Here's the other thing we're missing. JoJo Diaz, he wanted to fight Garcia. Let's say it was for the money. It was gonna be a bigger fight. He wasn't obligated to fight Haney, was he? After Garcia retired, yes or no?
Champion.
But hold on, was he obligated to fight Haney? Yes or no?
He was going to get mandated. No.
Okay, well there you go, and he fought him. So that's not a dog there. That's not a dog. And by the way, I think. By the way, can I hold on? I have to answer this.
He's not even an elite fighter, man.
Fellas. I also want to say something about that because I think that's a given right there. Copper Collar King doesn't seem to. Copper Collar King, how many times do you want me to denounce the belts? I just told you, fuck the organizations. Thank you for your contribution, though. Thank you. And yes, like I keep saying to people, let's stop taking this belt seriously and their rankings. Because again, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, not only are the rankings chaotic, but so's the judging criteria. I've heard people say, well, the judging criteria is subjective. No, it's not. That's not supposed to be subjective. It's not supposed to be, well, I saw this and you saw that. Therefore, I think, no, it's supposed to be clean punching, effective aggression, ring generalship. So, I mean, I'm telling you, boxing sometimes it does, it's all out of whack, man.
It's supposed to be
What
human.
reason
It's supposed to be
would
human.
you have to take the Ryan fight other than money?
Oh my goodness, you're still on this, man? He didn't dog Haney.
He just
Ryan,
can't
He didn't dog.
Why would he
Done.
fight if he didn't have to fight Haney? Why would he fight Haney for less money?
Less money,
Probably
he got
a harder
paid
fight,
more.
or fight a popular Mexican and get paid more.
He got paid as much as he did against Ryan. Against Haney the next
What are
time.
you talking about? He
got paid the same amount.
Did he fight Ryan? Did he fight Ryan?
He fought,
dude, he got the same contract. He got the same amount.
Did he fight Ryan? Did he fight Ryan? Ryan?
Dude, they had the contract signed. Okay, Ryan got
And how much? How much? What was his pay? What was his pay supposed to be?
About Ryan too.
Yes, about Ryan's the same amount. That's literally what he. That's
How do you don't know that? How do you know what his contract was going to be? What he was going to make off the gate, which would have been much bigger.
You're telling me what Devin said to Jojo Diaz is just false.
And I'm
telling you this, Garcia. I'm telling. All right, listen. Who cares what Devin says? He's not Garcia. If that fight would have happened, if I don't care what Eddie Hearn said, if Diaz and fucking Garcia, I don't care. I'm telling you right now, if Diaz Garcia fought in Texas, Southern California, it would have done triple the numbers that fucking Diaz Haney did. Remember that fight bombed
for sure,
at the viewership, and it bombed at the gate. Okay, facts.
Well, listen. At the end of the day, all of this is academic.
How much was the game?
At the end of the day, at the end of the day, this is all academic because they ended up fighting. You can't fight a guy. They say, well, he got ducked. I mean,
but
listen.
Obviously, two Mexicans fight in Southern California. Diaz and Garcia.
All right,
common sense.
All right. I got that. Listen,
not just that, but
can I say something about Kambosos and Devin Haney?
What's that?
Can I say something about Kambosos versus Devin Haney? I just feel like Devin Haney, he needs to fight, man, better competition. I mean, he has good skills. To be honest with you, man, he needs to fight better competition. And to be honest with you guys, I just think Kambosos, he's going to be Haney in this fight. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? But if Haney beats Kambosos, I'll give him credit. But I just feel like he needs to fight better competition, Haney. But
How can he fight better competition if everybody else
is fighting the lineal champ?
Yeah, he's stepping up right now.
He's stepping up right now.
And I mean, you got to give also Kambosos credit too. You got to give Devin Haney too. You know why? Devin Haney, you got to give him credit because he's gonna fight twice if he beats Kambosos the first time. So you got to give him credit for that. But you also got to give Kambosos some credit. Why? Because at the end of the day, he's a champion. He wanted to fight Lomachenko. Lomachenko wasn't gonna fight him. Guess what? He fought. He
didn't want to fight Lomachenko.
Okay, first of all, that guy made no sense. Haney's fighting Kambosos, who's a lineal champ. That is a step up, and I'm giving him credit for that. He's with Top Rank right now to make that fight happen. He deserves massive respect.
Also,
that's correct.
He's fighting at the same country twice for the same amount.
Yeah, that's why you got to give him respect because he's not, like a lot of teams won't do that. That they won't do that. You know, they won't actually sign a contract for 2 fights. So that's why you got to give Devin Haney credit, but also you got to give Kambosos credit because he wanted to fight. Like I said, Lomachenko. That fight didn't went through, so he picked Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen.
I think a lot of it's money too, and his age. It's the big money fights. I think that has a lot to do with him right now. He's not getting any younger, and his fighting style is not gonna last for a long career. So he just figures, fuck it, I'm gonna get my fucking ends now.
That's the other thing is,
man. I'm sorry to cut you guys off. So let's say you guys think this is gonna be like basically like a robbery. Let's say if Kambosos is winning the fight. And it's close. You think in Australia they might give it to like Devin Haney just because he's younger, just because he's signed with Top Rank. You guys think that or no?
Well, listen, we talked about this earlier, and my point is, just because the fight's taking place in Australia doesn't necessarily mean Kambosos is going to get the benefit of the doubt. I mean, listen, there's plenty of robberies that take place in the United States. Some of the biggest robberies ever have taken place in the United States against the foreigners.
Exactly.
So this whole thing about all of a sudden, like, look, he's not going to the seventh hell to get this fight. He's going to Australia. By the way, shout out to Texas Bulldog for his contribution to the super chat. Says Teo and Kambosos both need 10 million for a Haney fight. Wait, is he getting 10 million for the Haney fight?
Yeah, he is.
Good
He's
for him.
getting 10 million. No.
Yes.
I need to.
I never heard these reports.
But if you think about it, Haney actually, if right now, I mean, Top Rank's paying for this thing, so they're the house fighter. If you actually think about it, he's picking the judges, or he's going to have sway. So if you really want to know, like the caller just said, when I'm sorry, I call him a caller. One of the guys in the panel just said he's with Top Rank, and that actually might give him some fucking with the judges, because the judges, if it's who knows, I'm just saying, if there's a chance for corruption, it's going to be with the guys putting up the money with the judges. That's my thing. I always say, who's the house fighter? Who's the guy with the promoter behind it? And if it's Alan who's putting up the money, that would make me think if there was corruption, it would be on Haney's side.
Well, listen, I need confirmation. I need confirmation real quick.
Yeah, he's involved too.
Fellas, I need confirmation that he's getting 10 million, because sometimes people confuse the 10 million thing for the actual what's it called, the purse bid. So I need to.
Seems like a lot, don't it?
Yeah, it's a lot, man. Also, shout out to hold on a second. Who was it after Texas? Iceman. Shout out to Iceman for his contribution via super chat. He says, "Who is ducking who again, and how you feel about the belts?" Yeah, I mean, come on, that's that type of discussion. It's a bunch of hypotheticals at this point. So shout out to Iceman for that, and shout out to Coppered Colored King, who says, "Never fight an Irishman in Ireland on St. Patrick's Day." Actually, I knew a friend of mine who fought an Irishman over there. Lucky for him, he fought a guy that was playing a leprechaun in a parade. So he was a midget. So it wasn't all that difficult, man. So I suppose it's a little creative matchmaking there goes a long way if you fight a guy abroad.
We should demonize fighters going for the money fights instead of the legacy fights.
Absolutely.
Like, for instance, if what's his name? If Errol Spence, instead of taking the Crawford fight, went after Manny Pacquiao for the money, who in here would think that the Crawford fight or the Manny fight is a better fight than the Crawford fight?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on which timeline we're talking about. If it was after if it was immediately after Pacquiao beat Thurman, then I wouldn't have minded Spence fighting. What?
Maybe, I don't know. I never thought he was going to win. I think he should have retired after that fight.
The Crawford fight is the best fight for the welterweight division. Spence and Crawford is the best fight in the welterweight division.
Absolutely.
Legacy wise, best fight. After Manny, I would even.
Bro. And who you guys got?
Crawford. One at a time, because we're diverging points here. The number one, the question was, hey, somebody, MMA champ, please mute your mic, man. Oh fuck, I'm gonna have to mute him. There's people screaming in the background. What the fuck? He's in the bodega or something. Okay, the question was if it's a better fight, Crawford Spence or Spence Pacquiao. Again, right after Pacquiao beat Thurman, let's remember Thurman was an undefeated guy at some point, not that long afterwards. He'd been considered number one welterweight in the world, so it wasn't really that big of a drop off if you want to consider a drop off in the first place. But I get your point about fighters taking money fights, because, for example, Benavidez, he's talking about how he's being avoided. But then, if I remember correctly, he demanded way more money than he's actually worth to fight Andrade. So in a way, it goes back to this point of fighters, they're just waiting around for big fights to fall on their laps instead of actually fighting the best out there and building a resume off of that.
That is why I say Jojo Diaz ducked Devin Haney. The best fight for Jojo Diaz, legacy-wise, was winning that WBC champ and going against Devin Haney. Not
you really got a harden for this supposed dog fight that ended up happening, man.
I never got to finish my point. The guy kept
we moved on from that because they ended up fighting. Your point is moot. You're grasping at something that you shouldn't even be grasping at because it happened. You should be happy that it happened instead of fucking saying, "Oh no, well it should have happened." Did you want it to happen a couple of months earlier? I mean, come on, man.
Well, the 135 fight said Devin needs to step up in competition. When everybody that's supposed to fight Devin Haney.
Let me ask you, dude, have you ever been wrong about anything in your entire life?
I've been wrong. I'm just saying, like, I never got to finish my point. You just interrupted me.
I wonder if people know you were shocked. I mean,
dude, I let you talk unhinged for like a whole minute, and as soon as I talk
a whole minute, because that actually makes sense, dude. What you're saying is ridiculous. The
all right, we're gonna go back to. We're not gonna go back. We're not gonna go back to the. We're not gonna
give up his real belt to get a weaker belt.
We're not gonna go back to the whole fuck. We're not gonna go back to this fucking
Friday.
Yeah, but we're not gonna go back to the JoJo thing because that's ridiculous. It ended up happening. And by the way, if like Haney that much better than fucking Ryan Garcia? They're all contenders at the end of the day. So he just moved from one contender to the other.
We gotta see it.
Devin Haney fight elite fighters first, you know, because even
well, but 135, he's fighting the elite. He's fighting the elite now. He's fighting the lineal champ.
He's fighting Kambosos, but we need to see him fight Kambosos. Like, we need to basically see him.
That's what we'll see.
What do you keep saying?
He's the only lightweight, including Kambosos, that are actually wanting to fight each other. Tank is going around doing nothing, fighting Rolly Murata.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Ryan Garcia is fighting I don't know who.
Yeah, I mean he needs to step it up too, though.
Oh, by the way, can I say something about that? Can I say something about that? This is a pet peeve of mine here. This really made me incensed. Fucking Ryan Garcia versus Tagoe, they're fighting, right? Guess what? Here in Canada, pay-per-view on the Zone. It's at the Zone pay-per-view. How the fuck is this fight pay-per-view?
Are you serious?
It's pay-per-view.
Even if you pay for your DAZN membership, they're gonna charge you a pay-per-view for that?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking retarded. That's absurd.
That's why DAZN is kind of trash, in my opinion. They don't even give you the best fights, and they still want to charge you money.
But the pay-per-view is only like $15, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I guess that makes it all better.
Why is a pay-per-view?
But if you pay $20,
that is what doesn't make sense.
That fight should be on CD, dude. That fight is. I don't even want to watch that fight. Like, put that on VHS or something. Like, Jesus.
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, $20 a month right now. I think the DAZN's giving mostly domestic level cards. Every now and then they pull out a Pearl, but for the most part, it's fucking the Connolly type. Even though it was a good scrap, but I haven't been happy with the DAZN at all.
Mike,
you know what?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Soothsayer, go ahead.
Dude.
Yeah, 135. Nothing. I mean, I don't want to go to the same thing, but you keep saying he needs to step up. Dude, he's fucking fighting Kambosos.
But we need to see him beat Kambosos.
You want him to fight fucking Terrence Crawford?
Okay, I get what 135 fight is saying. What he's saying is he doesn't know how to rank him as a fighter yet in terms of skills because he hasn't.
That's what I'm trying to say.
135 fights. Are you a Teofimo fan?
Oh no, hell no.
Oh,
man. I'm a general 135 fan.
Wait, 135.
I'm not saying that Devin Haney sucks. He is a good fighter. He's a good boxer, man. Like, he's a great boxer. He's a good boxer.
135. Are you Hispanic?
I mean, what? What
are you
Hispanic?
Yeah,
race doesn't have to do with facts, dude.
Hey, chill out. Hold on. Are you 135? Are you black? What are you?
I'm black and Hispanic. I mean, but what that has to do anything though,
ya
man?
Ya tu sabe, chico. Ya tu sabe. All right, listen. Here's the thing. I'm saying ya tu sabe because he's either got to be Cuban, Dominican, or Puerto Rican, or one of those three.
Yeah. I'm actually Cuban and black, but that doesn't mean anything.
Actually, orale, that's Mexican. Well, listen. That MMA. I know what MMA. I know what MMA champ's trying to. I know what MMA champ's trying to do. Don't let MMA champ try to get to. By the way, MMA champ's Haitian. That's right around the Dominican Republic and Cuba and all that. So you're right. You guys are actually neighbors.
I think MMA is part Cuban too.
And BDA is from Uganda. So
okay, what? Hey, by the way, shout out to Get These Hands for his contribution with the super chat. He says, "How do we criticize Devin Haney for not fighting better opponents when most of the better opponents didn't want to fight Devin Haney?" Well, there you go. And he's fighting come on. And he's fighting let's not get back to that. But I had to read the super chat from Get These Hands. Shout out to Get These Hands. Listen, fellas, I don't know what to say about that Ryan Garcia thing. That pisses me off. And I do believe I might have to dust off the old laptop and watch that fight. You know what I mean? Off the grid, if you know what I mean. Not.
BDA, can I ask the panel question?
As long as it's not about fucking Jojo Diaz, go ahead.
It's not, so we have, a great fights coming up, especially in April. We got GG versus Murata, Spence Ugas, White, Fury, what's
Yeah,
his
we
name?
got good
Valdez,
fights.
Shakur, a bunch of fights. And
That's
I want
true.
to ask you guys, out of like the schedule from April all the way to June, what is your favorite fight coming up that you're most intrigued in?
Mine is Pitbull versus Gamboa, and let me tell you why.
Okay.
Well, go ahead, man. Don't leave us in suspense, man. What
He
the
just
fuck?
muted himself.
Let me tell you why. Silence. Somebody else go.
I would say probably the Canelo Bivol fight.
It's a great fight. Oscar Valdez and Stevenson. I like that one.
But Charlo and Castano, man,
that'd be a good
match. I think that's the best fight because that last fight was fight of the year in my opinion.
Whoa.
Hey, sorry, my mic is fucked up, but I'm saying Pitbull versus Gamboa because think about it. He beats Gamboa. He's got a good name, man. He's gonna get that rematch with Tank.
No.
Think about that redemption, man. It's great.
Haney versus Tank.
Hold
That's
on,
an amazing
all the ones that love the Mexican boxers and all that and are laughing at me for this, bro. He's the epitome of a fucking Mexican boxer. He went out there, he showed his heart. How is everybody laughing? How does everybody fucking laugh at that?
How do I kick somebody? How do I kick off somebody off the Discord again? I forgot because I want to kick Soothsayer of that panel. How do I do it?
Tap, right click, and then it should give you the option to kick.
Okay, Soothsayer, I love you, man, but we gotta let you go, man, because of that. No, he's kidding around. He's fucking kidding around. So people have said so far. People have said Charlo versus Castano. People's Bivol versus Canelo. By the way, did you guys see the pictures of Canelo in training? The guy looks.
That dude is bulked.
That dude is juiced.
Yeah.
No pun.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I mean, he didn't look as cut as before, but he looked big. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, I was just going to say real quick. I just went back and looked at the same time. They had Lomachenko, WBC, while he was holding that franchise title before the Tim. No, I'm just state of fact, dude. I'm not going to talk about Diaz, but he was ranked higher in the WBC. Haney was behind him, number 2.
I know.
So just wanted to say that. So obviously he held and he was the higher belt, being a franchise champion.
Why would he drop the WBC franchise belt? I mean, the WBC champion.
Because you couldn't have them both. That was part of the deal.
No, you didn't let me
finish.
finish.
I do the same thing.
Dude, you let me finish.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Dude, why are you saying Jesus Christ if you didn't let me finish? I didn't get to finish. Calm down. All right. For the Canelo thing, Canelo vacated a month before he got the franchise belt. One thing. 2 things for the WBC franchise belt. Why would he drop the WBC championship belt and basically end all talks of undisputed? Why would he drop it? He needs that to be undisputed.
Because if he won, he would have been considered undisputed. They would have kept Haney as the junior, the tier 2 champion.
Who considers
he would have been undisputed? Listen, it would have been the WBC would have, because what would have happened if he would have beat Teofimo that night and got all the belts? He would have been the undisputed champion. Haney would have been second, tier 2, like he was prior to the fight. But when he lost it, the franchise title couldn't change hands. That's the dilemma about it. It couldn't change hands, but he still would have been the unified champion. Haney was always considered tier 2. That's my only point.
The WBC
I'm not dissing on Haney for it.
The WBC considering Loma undisputed doesn't make him undisputed. He needs to have all 4.
He would, if the IBF said, "Yep, you're our champion," and if fucking WBA and the WBO they all said, "Yep, you're our champ,"
no, they have to.
And listen, all right, listen. Let me. And the WBC says, "Yep, you're our champ," and they have him in the rankings as their champ. Well, I don't understand your point, dude. If he would have beaten Lopez that night, which he didn't, he would have been the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. It wouldn't have been, he's almost undisputed except for Haney. That's not how it would have went. But when he lost it, that conversation got blown up. But my point is, he never would have, and then Canelo gave up his belt because he knew he was getting a franchise belt. That wasn't just on a fucking, on an afternoon.
The franchise belt too.
Hold up, BDA.
Yeah.
I thought you fucking kicked me off the panel, bro. Like the last thing I heard your words were like, "I'm kicking you off."
I was kidding around. Elvira, I was kidding around. No, I was kidding around. I didn't kick you out, man. Come on. But
also, you know the list when Josh Taylor went undisputed. You see that list? Where's Teofimo Lopez at? Because he had the WBC franchise belt during that time. And
he didn't have the franchise belt.
Yes, he did. It was
he doesn't have but he doesn't have the title. It doesn't have the.
It was an agreement. If Lopez were to win that fight against Lomachenko, he would get the WBC franchise belt. That was the agreement, and he won the fight, and he had it during then. Hence why George Kambosos has it right now. So explain to me when that list showed up, it had everybody except Teofimo.
Well, that's the right. And what I was saying in their rankings before he lost to Timo, and that's what we're talking about. Because what you're saying was Lomachenko deliberately gave up a belt and swapped it out for a belt that is considered by the WBC and everybody else and other sanction bodies to be lesser than to a kid for no reason.
The reason why he did it, and it's clear, for the unification bout. Because guess what? Haney had
got the unification anyway. What happens if you didn't take the franchise?
Can I finish? You didn't let me finish. Okay, because right after he won, I believe like a month before, Haney had won the interim belt. Right before then, and it was during COVID as well. So during the COVID era, during that time, if Haney were to get mandated for Lomachenko, that's just another, a mandatory defense, which people got so mad for when Canelo had to fight against his mandatory, Alvini Yildirim, instead of going against for unification. So what Lomachenko did was he wanted to get to the unification first, and then I'm pretty sure Lomachenko, if he were to beat Teofimo, he was going to pick up the WBC championship belt again.
But he already had it. Why would he listen? Listen to me.
Already have it. Yes, you just said that you have to
Jesus
vacate.
Fucking Christ! Let me finish. All right. Say if he didn't take the franchise, whatever they offered to him, he said, "Now I'm all set. I already have the WBC belt. So when I fight, I can already unify." So all you're saying is all these what ifs, and you're asking about questions about this and that. To say that Lomachenko gave up his belt for a lesser belt is asinine, and there's a ton of articles. I'm pulling them all up right now to prove that. But it doesn't matter because you're just going to say the same thing next week.
If it's a greater belt, then why isn't George Kambosos or Teofimo considered undisputed?
They're not.
They're not.
Listen, because WBC said he was. They fucked up. They walked it back, and then they said it again. That's why Bill Haney was all pissed off.
Don,
it's their belt.
So let me just get. Can I just get this?
Their belt. Of course, they're gonna. Can
I get?
It's not a greater belt.
If I understand this,
because they.
Oh my goodness gracious! If I understand this correctly, then just because you guys are going, I don't think you guys are going to agree with each other. But so I'm just looking at this. I'm thinking, okay, Jimmy's got one point of view. Don's the type of guy. He's got his own point of view. He believes that as long as what the organizations say, it stands. So that's, again, I just have to reiterate. My point is stop paying attention to what these championship organizations tell you, because they'll change things on a whim. It's like if you got this guy's the champion. Yeah, but then they need some more money. So what do? They create another belt. If you go by what they're telling you, there's going to be 3-4 champions all over the place holding WBC championship belts simultaneously. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're champions. So that's what I'm saying is please stop paying attention to these organizations.
They're holding us.
Because they're holding. I haven't finished yet. I wasn't finished yet. Please, fellas. Okay. You're jumping all over me, man. And I want to give a shout out to Nicholas Argerus' way as well. He just contributed with the super chat. He's a serious question. Is LRB Haney's real dad? Okay, come on, man. He's talking about the fucking nostrils there. I'm not supposed to address the nostrils anymore, by the way. But shout out to Nicholas Argerus. Well, management feels that we shouldn't be delving into making fun of people's looks, and I agree.
But group. It's
not necessarily that. It's just making fun of people's appearance. It's not what we're. Hey, what we're doing. And by the way, somebody in the chat goes, "Hey, the WBO undisputed means the original 4 belts." The WBO was started in the 80s, 1988, if I'm not mistaken, and it was only started to become relevant after Joe Calzaghe became the Lineal super middleweight champion after he beat Jeff Lacy. So we're talking about, maybe at the most 15 years that the WBO has been legitimized. Before that, it was considered a joke, and it was considered something that most European puffers used to hold. So I don't understand. Again, it just goes to show you, proves my point. All these people that, again, proves my point. All these people that, the WBO, the WBC, this and that, they lost their luster a long time ago via corruption. So if you want to keep paying attention to what this belt's saying, say, well, this guy's a champ because he's got a belt, fine. But then don't complain when the big fights don't happen, because all these lineal organizations are forcing the big stars to fight some no-name mandatory. That's just the way it is. Now, who wants to? Major Tom hasn't spoken. Go ahead, Major Tom. Go ahead. Major Tom, go ahead. You want to say something?
Well, I think about this. Well, sometimes the mandatories are good mandatories, and sometimes the mandatories allow young fighters or guys that don't have enough attention to challenge for these belts. That's why I like mandatories. The problem is they don't find good fighters most of the time, because you can be good and unknown. They should do that.
Also,
find guys that are good but not well known, and give them a chance to show their skills. And plus, I wanted to talk about the Andrade fight against Parker, because he's trying to get that Canelo fight. Do you guys think he'll ever get it?
Well, first of all, I want to give, you made an excellent point about that. There is some good to the Alpha Beta organization. It's not all bad, but like you said, it seems like the bad outweighs the good. Now, as to your point about Parker versus, what's his name? Versus
Andrade.
Man, that's,
Parker,
that dude, Parker's a big dude. What do you guys think?
I think he might get knocked out. I think Andrade's going to do good, and then he's going to get knocked out with a punch that he didn't see coming.
Wowee.
Damn, I didn't expect that. Real quick, BDA, you haven't brought up the fact that Barrera and Eric Morales are like, did you see that feud they had?
Well, hold on. Let's stick to the Parker thing here, because Andrade Parker, because again, Andrade's
horrible, man.
I know, but there's some potential hijinks afoot here, because he's no longer with Matchroom, unless I'm mistaken. Or I think his last fight with Matchroom is going to be against Parker. So, what do you guys think? I mean, he's old at this point for a fighter. He's 34. I think soon to be 35. So, what do you guys think about that Parker fight? Do you think it's a big risk?
I think it is. I think it's a big risk. He's going to be in Derby. I think Parker. I think it's just the right time for him. I think he's gonna really, really drive it home. He's gonna overwhelm Demetrius Andrade.
Whoa!
I wish Demetrius Andrade.
Is that the dude who fought Parker? Is that the dude who just fought Jacobs?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm confused. All right. Never mind.
No, Parker is he's a British dude. I think he's British. He's a pretty big guy for a super middleweight. He's got a wide back. He's built a little bit like Joe Smith, and he's got some skill to him. He's got some craft.
6 foot, 74-inch reach.
That dude is huge.
Is he stiff?
Oh, he's got a longer reach than Andrade, huh?
But is he a stiff fighter? I've never seen him fight.
I've never seen him fight. I don't know.
Very fluid.
He's got boxing skill, but limited.
Reminds me a little bit of Tyson Fury mixed with a bit of. I say mixed in with a bit of with his footwork, the way he moves in and out. I saw it against his Marcus Morrison fight. He has a chance to beat Andrade. He has a big chance of being Andrade.
Is he a hard hitter? Because I feel like Andrade is like a little chinny, to be honest.
Oh yeah, he can knock him out. Yeah.
Well, we saw Andrade get put on his seat at 154 against Martirosyan. Was that a question of being over, taking too much weight off? Did it weaken his chin? Is his chin more sturdy now? I mean, that's questions I have on him, but he has skills. Andrade can box. He has great distance. And if he's in good condition, he can make it ugly against anybody.
Jimmy, will you agree though? Will you agree the only reason anybody gives a fuck about Andrade right now is because of that press conference that he was trying to crash?
Yeah,
I'm really disappointed he didn't.
And that's it.
I'm disappointed he dumped his belt. He should have fought that kid. He's been itching for a big fight. I know it would have been a high risk for low reward, but sometimes you take the low reward to fucking get the big rewards at the end. Because if he would have taken that fight, there would have been and beat him. There would have been such a buzz around his name. Canelo would have said, "Who? That dude's name's got some buzz." This the dude who bring in the fucking viewers.
Hold on,
Charlo.
I think Canelo's never gonna fight Andrade. Andrade offers nothing.
Yeah,
he hasn't fought any world champions. He's 34 years old. He's finally taking a chance and moving up. At this point,
he would have to have a belt.
Yeah,
because if Canelo loses at 175, he's going to go back down. And he's going to just continue to campaign at 168 if he doesn't retire. But that's he already has one loss. He doesn't care. He's daring to be great by fighting Bivol. And if he loses, he'll just go back to 168.
And just like he's not fighting Benavidez because Benavidez don't have a belt, he offers him nothing. The same thing with Andrade.
Yeah, exactly. Andrade isn't perfect, but he did try to make that Billy Joe Saunders fight. But
he also tried to make the Charlo fight too.
Who wants to see that?
All right, but Soothsayer, you just keep replying with who cares, who wants to see that, who cares. The point is, the guy.
I want to see that fight. Like what? What do you mean?
No, because but what I'm saying is this: Andrade. I don't know if he was really avoided or not. Again, it's hard to tell when it's all going down behind closed doors. But I will say, when it comes to his performances, at this point, I don't know if it's age, I don't know if that's the way it's always been, but he tires down the stretch, man. And this Parker fella, he's never beaten anybody of note, but he's a big dude. He's got some craft. He's a switch hitter, and it's going to be the first fight for Andrade at 168. Now, supposedly, his private Steve Kim just did his recent article. He talks about Andrade, and he's got a strength and conditioning coach who says that Andrade can still make 160 easily. So therefore, making 168 is only going to make him stronger. Again, that's his strength and conditioning trainer or nutritionist, whatever. That's what he's supposed to say. But there's a lot of questions coming into this fight, man. And Andrade, at this point, he knows that his time is running out, and that if he wants to get one of those big fights, it needs to happen pronto.
Be honest, BDA. This is what's the most frustrating thing about Andrade. All kidding aside, he had everybody watching him, man, at that conference. He had everybody. He had Canelo, the GOAT, and he fucking blew it. He didn't have a personality to go after. He didn't make a T-shirt. He didn't do what Colby Covington did and all these other fighters do when they really want the fucking fight. He didn't promote himself. Look at him.
Yeah, but without a belt, it doesn't matter. He can make T-shirts, but without a belt, that's the only problem. Here's the problem with Andrade. He's always had a reputation as somebody who doesn't give it his all training. He's kind of lackadaisical. He's trained out of Rhode Island. That's how they were talking about him. That was his flaw back in the amateurs. I heard that people around Rock Nation were saying that about him. But you know what I mean? He's the type of dude, if he's training, he'll start talking to people while he's training. He's a very jovial kid, I guess, around people he knows and likes and stuff. So I don't know if he needs someone to get him focused. But if that's been something that, if you're doing that in the amateurs, you're usually doing it in the pros, because in the you're kind of your own boss more in the pros.
Right. Now, well, listen. Go ahead, Major.
That Jaime Munguia fight, I think the zone should have been pushing for that Jaime Munguia fight for Andrade. Like, you know how when he moved up to 160, he was number one immediately for Andrade's belt, but they kept pushing it back, kept fighting these guys. They prioritized all types of guys above him. Even what's his name? That Puerto Rican guy that's got like a whole bunch of losses, Gabe Rosado.
Yeah.
Golden Boy prioritized everybody above Demetrius Andrade.
Yeah, with Munguia, they're really careful about who they match him up with, because they know he does good money, but at the same time, he's just not that. I mean, he was struggling with Dennis Hogan, and then Charlo stopped Hogan, and Tim Tszyu stopped him. And they just made Munguia look bad, man. They just made him look bad. So I'm not surprised they're protecting him. That's a guy that if you want to tell me that he's being protected, I absolutely agree. That's the way it seems like, man. Maybe now they're starting to have a little bit more confidence with the way Morales is training him and the way he's adding a couple more wrinkles to his game. But before that, 2, 3, 4 years ago, he wasn't ready, man. Just wasn't ready.
I think Rosado, bro. Rosado took like 10 years off of his life, man.
Jesus,
yeah, possibly, man.
That dude is.
He's got like 40 fights, right?
That dude's a freaking warrior, man. He's a fucking warrior.
Wasn't Munguia supposed to fight Charlo?
Hold on, one at a time. What?
Wasn't Munguia supposed to fight Charlo?
Yeah, that fell through, I think.
Yeah, that fell through a couple of weeks ago.
DAZN wanted it on. DAZN wanted it on to be a part of it, and according to the press release, that PBC didn't want to put it on pay-per-view because they understand fans are getting upset about the pay-per-views, which is just laughable. They didn't want to share it. Basically, it comes down to that. And DAZN didn't want to fucking give them up totally, so they wouldn't work together. That's
Can I
what
ask
caused
you a
that fight to
question,
go.
BDA?
Who wants to ask me a question? What? Yeah, go ahead, Susir.
Yeah, with the Morales Barrera thing, right? In their un round mas, wasn't that kind of weird? How they were taking shots at each other, like in a recorded YouTube video like that. I don't know if you watched what I'm talking about.
I didn't. I only watched 12 minutes, and it was just Barrera was pontificating, so I had to skip it. But yeah, they're back together, right, on the podcast, and they said it was just a misunderstanding, or what happened exactly?
No. They went into it. They're leaving like bad blood. They're saying they're gonna put the bad blood away for now, and they're gonna continue to try to do the show as best as they could. But it just, man, it wasn't good.
You know what, man? I've seen that show without Barrera on it, and it's just as good, if not better, with just Morales alone. So I don't know why Morales insists, or maybe somebody behind the scenes is insisting that it's the two of them. But I like when Morales does. I saw the one Morales did with Chavez, the interview he did, or the podcast rather, and with De La Hoya, and they were fantastic. I don't think he needs Barrera to be a
I think it's all hype myself. I mean, think about it. It's got everybody talking about that podcast. I think it's all manufactured. Got everybody talking about the Spanish language podcast because it's totally in Spanish, right?
That's right.
Right, and everybody's talking about. I mean, every time on Twitter, people are talking about it. So if that was smart, if they did that on purpose, brought a lot of attention. People talk about it.
Hey, and Morales even brought up the fact that he told Barrera, he's like, I know you said I'm not your friend. He's like, but I appreciate you going to my son's funeral. It was like some real deep shit. That's why I'm like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, that's bizarre, man. And Barrera was always taking shots at Morales, like, "Hey, man, like when I beat you and blah blah blah." It's like, why is he? I don't know. It's weird. It wouldn't surprise me if they get into a fight at some point. If indeed it is real, if the animosity is real.
Do you think that the Murata legitimately has a chance to beat Triple G?
What?
Because that's real close. It's only about 7 days. I think almost 7 days away.
Next week, I believe. Yeah, I think it's next week. Listen, Murata's a big puncher. Golovkin is 40 years old, hasn't fought in about a year. So he's always got a shot. But I mean, I tell you for this much, if this fight would have taken place in 2015, like the Triple G 2015 version versus this version of Murata, I think Triple G walks through the guy.
Kills him, destroys him.
But now, though... Go ahead, Don.
Like a hot knife through butter.
Go ahead, Don. Yeah.
Isn't Donaire supposed to fight Inoue twice in June 7th?
Yeah, that's coming up. That's gonna be
that's
gonna
be
there.
Yeah.
Instead of the Charlo and Castaño, I'm leaning towards that fight because that fight was amazing.
No, wait a minute. You can switch it up. No, yeah, but that's a good fight too. It's unfortunate Donaire is a little older now. I can't see him.
They signed that PDA.
I think so. Yeah,
they inked that deal.
Yeah,
no shit.
June 7th, yeah, it's gonna happen.
Good for Donaire, man. That's crazy, man. That's blown me away that a dude that never happens. Little guys never come back. Go down and wait and fight again. That's just nuts. It's never happened before. In my lifetime.
He's a good fighter, man. He's a real good fighter.
And he's a clean fighter too. Most importantly.
A legend.
He's a classy dude. I think he might be I think Inoue. Is it the same weight class?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, by the way,
Inoue's got them big calves. He can crack.
We're almost.
Sorry, what's that?
Yeah, we're running out of time, so I wanted to introduce one subject here that I didn't. Rolly Romero and Tank Davis are going to be fighting. I know. But for some reason, this fight has captivated my attention because Romero's technique sucks. The guy is trash when it comes to technique. That being said, technique alone doesn't win fights. It's also about a combination of factors and whether you can put all that together for one night. Now, Rolly Romero is saying that because Davis' last fight with Mayweather, he thinks that the Mayweather camp promotions, they're siding with him, and because they think he's more marketable. What do you guys think? Do you think there's some treachery afoot here against Davis, or is that just something to hype the fight up?
Something to hype the fight up.
Yeah. And I don't even see that. I don't see Davis leaving either, because if he's signed to PBC, they get deals where if they make X amount of money, it automatically extends their contract. I think this might be all filler. And the reason why I say that, it was the answers. It's the way he laughed as he said it. So what do you think about Mayweather as a promoter? Like, and Davis the other day goes, he laughs, kind of goes, looks at his friend, goes, no comment. I'm saying to myself, if that's really like this was true, he wouldn't be saying shit like that because he wouldn't. I just think it's all fucking fake. I think the fight sucks so bad. Rolly Romero, you know what I mean, sucks like you said so bad. This is just ways to get people talking about him in the fight. It's my opinion.
I think Mayweather's a good promoter, though. Like,
wait, what?
The fact that Gervonta can have these fights, still sell out, and still be as popular as he is astounding.
Wow, his last fight didn't sell out. There was a certain section.
He's not that.
He didn't sell out against in the Isaac Cruz.
Nah, they closed out a certain section so they could fabricate what they did.
Oh,
missed it by
never mind.
1,000.
Never mind. But yeah, we're only
they lie about his they lie about the sellouts in Atlanta, and they lied about him in Los Angeles 3 days before the fights went off. What they did, if the guy like KO Tickets, Jim, if you guys ever look with tickets, best in the business, KO Tickets. But anyways, he saw it on his computer. All of a sudden, near the top ball was there. Blink, it was gone. They just wiped it out, and then they said, "Up, sell out."
Hey, Jimmy, I live here in Georgia, man. And when Gervonta fought in Atlanta, I have a friend that worked at a Best Buy across the street from that arena, and somebody from the GTD came in and started giving out free tickets, and it's so true. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
I was about to say that. Al Heyman is known for comping tickets, guys. He's known for comping tickets, buying the tickets and giving them for free.
Who do you guys think is winning? Rolly?
He gave out 1,500 tickets in one Wilder fight. I forget who it was, but I think it was Washington. They gave out 1,500 tickets for that fight.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't believe these guys when they say they selling out. I think he's being sued right now. Al Heyman's being sued by one of the guys who bought the tickets for him.
So is Floyd Mayweather by the.
I think it was for the Logan Paul fight.
Oh yeah. Supposedly they didn't. They supposedly Paul didn't receive money for that fight. I just want to say, shout out to Boxing Expert. He goes, Ebony Bridges tiene un problema renal, está renalgona. Now that's a very uncouth type of comment right there, Boxing Expert. But I agree. She's got a nice. Well, he said. Well, it's in Spanish, so it's kind of like it's a play on words. But he's saying she's got a nice ass. Yeah, it's wordplay right there. But hey, I want to say something about. Can I say something real quick?
The funniest guy
yes.
About Tank Davis. I can't help but feel that maybe he's looking at. Look, he's making good money with the PBC, fighting subpar opposition. But don't you guys think that? Again, it's like Frank said in Scarface: never underestimate the other guy's greed. Don't you think he's looking at these other guys and going, "Man, okay, I'm making good money now, but I could be getting even more money by fighting these guys." But Mayweather's telling me now don't fight those guys. So don't you think he's getting pissed off a little bit too?
That's exactly what it is.
I don't think he's making good money either, though. He's only getting $1 million guaranteed. Think about that, man. Fucking Haney's been getting 3.5 guaranteed for his last 4 or 5 fights. Fucking Davis is only getting $1 million, so he's not even getting good money.
Well, that is good money for Jimmy. That's what I'm saying. That is good money for the type of opposition he's fighting. That's what I'm saying. So he's looking.
Oh yes, golden brick money, absolutely, for handpicked opponents.
I can see Tank looking at the way he gets paid, man, and in a way that rappers get paid. They get that big advancement, but they owe the company the rest of their lives, and they ruin themselves. Yeah. I think that's how he's looking at it.
I'm hoping that the kid I'm hoping the kid has his pride. I'm hoping that the kid's a true fighter, what I think he is, and I hope he's fucking looking around saying, this is bullshit, man. I'm getting tired of being fucking Twitter fodder. I'm getting tired of being memes. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to fucking talk through respect on my name. Because I'll tell you, the kid is tough. He's been fighting his whole life. Had a horrible childhood. I think he's been taken advantage of by Mayweather and sold the fucking, a dream.
Victim of the modern age.
People called him Adrian Broner 2.0, and I just can't get it out of my mind.
Yeah, that's.
I think he's going down that path, like constantly going up in weight, going against Mario Barrios. I think his best name to date is Santa Cruz. If I'm Mayweather, right? Why is he even campaigning at 135? He should be campaigning at 130. campaign at 130, move up, go to 135, and then gradually move up to 140. And if he's able to go to 147, because he is a pretty big guy. Like, he's small, but...
Well, he's short, though. Yeah, he's only 5'4", bro. He's so short, he would get crucified at the higher weights. But lack of discipline. The kid fucking blows up like a Buddha between fights.
I give him credit for the Barrios win. I know Barrios is not, exactly Josh Taylor or Cepeda, but hey, he fought a much taller guy and ended up stopping him. So I think he could compete against some of these other fellas. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Thurman couldn't even stop Barrios. That should tell you something about his power. He can. I think if Gervonta were to campaign at 130, I think he can knock out majority of the top contenders at 130.
Yeah, man, but he's just not fighting often enough. That's the problem. I mean, he's got so much promise, Tank Davis, but he's fighting a prospect. That's what Rolly Romero is. He's a prospect, and by the way, he should have a loss on his record. He should have a loss on his record.
Rolly is so funny. I saw this video. Rolly had this pole with a boxing glove at the end of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what the fuck was that, man? Let's see if I can play it. I don't know if maybe just 5 seconds, I think, is the sweet spot, but what the fuck was he?
He was dodging a glove that was standing still.
Yeah, exactly.
And he almost got touched by it.
Dude, he's so... Man, I watched an interview of his not too long ago, right? And they asked him a question. They were like, so what are you going to do to Tank Davis? And that dude he was thinking real hard for like 5 seconds. He goes, I'm going to knock him out. That's all he had to say.
Hey,
Rolly,
seconds, man.
BDA, do you remember that first press conference and they called Rolly to come up and talk to Tank? Did you hear all that rambling that he was saying? He was like, I am like the second youngest from the third YouTuber.
He's man. I fucking love that kid, man.
If Rolly was any good, if he was really good, he could easily be the best marketing tool for BBC.
Hey,
that dude is hilarious.
This isn't much, but I think earlier today I posted, or maybe it was yesterday, I posted a video of Rolly just like rocking the shit out of Ryan Garcia. So, he's got something.
Hey,
somebody posted a tweet that said that he was asked to name the capital in the state he was born in, and he couldn't.
God.
Imagine that, dude. Imagine how dumb you have to be not to know that you can't name the capital in the state you were born in. Like that's like fucking special needs type of dumb. That's crazy. If that's true.
He goes really hard in sparring. Like, he be elbowing, lunging at people. He probably got CTE, dude. Like, bro, that is really sad.
You know what?
The way he moans, he's coming on these dudes too, bro.
Oh, wait a minute. I was rewatching some of his fights, the Martinez fight and the Yigit fight, and he does throw elbows. Now, I don't know if his technique is so shit that he's throwing them unintentionally, or if he's doing that by design. It's what do you guys think? I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but after he throws the overhand right, he really bends that arm inside, and it follows with the elbow.
Don't they call that?
It looks on purpose to me.
Don't they call that? Don't they call that veteranism?
Veteranism. That's what Andrew Ward calls it. Yeah, Andrew Ward calls it veteran tactics. Yeah.
Well, BDA, it becomes a bad habit. So you might land it accidentally, but then you discover, oh man, this is accidentally, but it's actually getting to my opponent. And if I'm having a hard time knowing if it's real or not, the referee's going to have a harder time. You see, so it's like by design, nobody really understands it. He does, but he just allows it to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
was
you're
it
right.
Common Basilio? There was somebody back in the day. People knew not to get in any kind of a fucking close fight with him because he would just slice you up with his elbows. He was so good at it.
Might have been
he lunges at his opponents. Lunges. Like, he throws his whole body whenever he just, like, man, that dude is very sloppy and dangerous. He can hurt somebody.
He's going to hurt himself. That's what's going to happen. He's going to pull a groin muscle or something. Shout out to YouTube. It's not the real YouTube. I don't know who he is, but he donated, didn't leave a message, but shout out to YouTube. And shout out to Boxing Expert for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Bainey Bridges tiene un problema en el ombligo y lo tiene muy lejos del mío. Viva VDA Boxing, arriba yo y mi apa y la chona. All right, there you go, Boxing Expert. Shout out to you, man. Really appreciate your contribution. La chona.
Well, that chick, I'll tell you, man, talk about the TNA brother, right? She got 185,000 followers on Twitter. She's got like 60,000 more than the GOAT, Shields, with 6 fights.
Well, she's a broad with a pair of knockers. So obviously she's gonna
figure it out.
She knows how to use them.
She knows what she's doing.
No shame.
She's those chicks that like the clit is so big, it's like a small penis kind of chick.
What? Jeez.
I kind of.
Well, that can happen to chicks when they take steroids.
Yeah, she high T.
They get fucking enlarged. Yeah, they enlarge their clitoris, man.
Nice.
Well, yeah, Toronto versus Taylor.
I wonder what they feel like when you hit a girl in the tits, especially if you're nice and voluptuous. What's the feeling?
It's like a punching
bag. If I was fighting Bridges, I'd be freaking trying to punch her in the boob all day, dude. Try to freaking blow that shit up, dude.
Hey,
if I were the ref, I'd be checking those just to see if she doesn't have something hidden in there. Like, listen, I got to be very thorough with those fun bags. Let's go.
Hey, Gonzalo.
And that's it.
Yeah, what's up, Susair?
I'm about to take a shot, bro. I want to do a shot with you.
Orale.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
What the fuck? All right. Also, I wanted to say that when you've got yourself Ebony Bridges in your apartment, you better watch out that the wife doesn't come around, because then if she finds out which apartment she's in, this is what's going to happen.
Yes, I want you to know, sir, that you have a whole living in Toronto.
Yeah, she's going to just click all the buttons down there and start calling her a whore. All right, listen. What else was I going to say? So yeah,
your wife would smell her.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, she looks like she's got a sour tasting pussy. I don't know why. That's what Bridges looks like.
Yeah, she looks like she could be a little ripe. Looks like she could have a kicker.
Yeah, a little like you can.
Murata, right around the corner.
That's right. We're going to be talking about that more as we go along later on this week. That's about it, man. When it comes to the news right now, like I said, Rolly Romero Mayweather, that's coming up as well. I'm intrigued. By the way, yeah, that's what I want to say about fucking Rolly Romero's trainer. I was rewatching the Martinez fight, right? So Martinez, as soon as the final bell gets rung, Martinez starts screaming, Maria! I don't know what he's talking about. So he starts screaming, Maria. Then they announce the decision. And one of Rolly Romero's trainers, it's a black guy with dreads. I think he used to be a pro fighter. And he starts screaming, strap season. And then Martinez starts getting out of the ring and he goes, go back to the drawing board. It's like, oh, he's talking shit even after they got the win. I mean, I'm telling you, that combined with Romero's attitude, I think I'm actually going to root for Davis in this one. What about you fellas?
I don't know, man.
Come on.
It's harder. I just want to see, based off Davis's last fight where he didn't want to really fight, he tied up and the shenanigans, I want to see him in a tough fight. And yeah, Rolly's a tough. He's not that good of a tough. So we'll see what skills Davis shows.
I hope the little doofus catches him with a shot. Myself.
Hey, BDA.
I really do.
And Rolly's defense, I don't think he's scared of Davis. Like a lot of these guys that fight him are, and I can see him really trying to rough him up, like really making Davis uncomfortable.
He's gonna walk right into a fucking Davis uppercut. Yeah. You watch, probably the third round.
Reach up there, though.
Oh,
that's the thing, though.
All his opponents are tall.
Yeah, he can. He's gonna drive it right up, and he's gonna walk right in with his chin up, probably trip over his own feet, and he'll trip right into an uppercut. That kid's a disaster. But I do hope he lands I hope the doofus does land a fucking lucky shot and starches fucking Davis. That'd be precious.
Can I say something about that?
Davis, man, I would say Rolly's the best at 135 and 140.
Oh, wait a minute. What?
That's the Rolly era, bros. It's the
Rolly era. It's the
Rolly era, yeah. But you know what, though, Jimmy? What you said about Romero running into a shot, I don't think he's got a choice. I think that's his best bet, to just go after Davis, make it a rough fight.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's going to get outboxed.
Elbows, fucking rough him up. Exactly, bro.
That guy can't box, man. That guy cannot box. He's not a jabber. He's got awful technique. But when it comes to inside fighting, he's strong. He knows how to rough guys up. That's his best bet, man. And even then, it's a bad bet.
He's a poorly techniqued fucking prospect headlining a pay-per-view, and you tell me PBC ain't fucked.
Hey, Boxing Ego said Rolly was a powerful brawler.
Well, he's powerful, that's for sure. But
yeah, Boxing Ego's a fucking moron.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like Rolly's gonna bite Tank. If Tank hits him hard and during the clinch, he's gonna bite him. Just like I feel like he's just gonna bite him and take a piece of flesh, dude. Like that dude, Rolly, man.
And BDA, I don't say that. I don't call other guys like other contract, contributors morons. But that dude fucking made a whole video about one tweet I made, and it came to be what I said was true. Remember Jimmy, that? So that's why fuck him.
I was watching that when it happened. I was like, what the fuck? And he was saying you were racist because you asked about a number. I was watching that. But hey, real quick, BDA, can I read a comment? Boxing expert said earlier, lávense la boca antes de hablar de mi novia Ebony Bridges.
Okay, this guy's nuts. He's not. Yeah, he's probably got a poster of her. But hey, listen, if you're gonna have a poster of a boxer, I'd rather you have a poster of Ebony Bridges than a fucking Orlando Cruz in there. But look, and by the way, Jimmy, the guy works makeup, so don't stress him. And that happened a long time ago. Listen, we gotta go. We've been out here for 2 hours, and I think we covered a lot of
failed
bases.
actor.
Oh, come on. But man,
he tried to be an actor. Failed actor, YouTube grifter, clown.
Yeah, that's some people in the BDA.
Dude, think about it, man. He said, but right before the Ortiz fight, you guys give me my credit. Remember, Jimmy, I said it. That's exactly what he said. Remember when he said that Wilder was gonna.
Are you talking about
What's
Eric
that, buddy?
Gomez?
Oh shit! Here we go.
Yeah, Eric Gomez.
Yes.
No, Jimmy, that's not who he's talking about, man. What are you talking about?
The cross-eyed.
Oh, Eric Gomez. Isn't that his name? Isn't that his real name? Eric Gomes?
Yeah, that's
Eric Gomez.
Who are we? Wait, are you talking about
real
6?
Quick, BDA.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do for your 20,000 subscriber video? Are you gonna do something like special, or what are you gonna do?
I don't know, man. That's you just reminded me of that. I don't know. We're still trying to get to 20,000. So once
he's gonna make her OnlyFans.
Okay. What the
I want to blow. I want to get on the show and blow smoke out of my eyes.
What?
Yeah, as long as you don't blow somebody else, that's fine, man. But look, listen.
Come on, BD.
Yeah, listen. Whatever you want to do on camera, that's on you. Man.
I know Teofimo Senior's blowing Teofimo.
Oh, come on. All right, listen. We do have to go. My goodness gracious, this show's going down the drain. Oh, actually, it was already in the drain a long time ago. But listen, fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Good discussions here. Join us for the next episode next Friday, as always. And don't forget to hit the like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Spread that BD gospel. And that's about it. Anything else you want to say, guys, before we go? Final statements? I'm going to take that as
great again.
That's right. May resuscitate boxing. Let's save boxing. That's what we got to do over here. That's our mission statement. All right, listen, fellas, thanks again.
Yep.
Neil Simpson is asking, what is up with Recognize? Yeah, a lot of people are asking. Listen, Recognize said, you guys know he's got his own business, and he said he's got some new stuff coming up, and it's going to really take a lot of time away from him. He's going to try to jump on every once in a while, but he said, hey, listen, I got to do what I got to do. He's got a family on top of that, so if he doesn't show up for a while, but he's doing good. He's doing good. That's what he said. So shout out to Recognize.
A lot of traveling, yeah, right. Wasn't a lot of traveling and shit. So yeah, good for him. I hope he's listening. Hope everything's going good for him, my brother.
Absolutely. Shout out to Recognize. And shout out to all of you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm talking about Brian Montes. Well, first of all, everyone on the panel, thank you for joining us. And shout out to Brian Montes, Mark T, Marcus R, Knockout Ned, Arkan Inmate, Don Ramon Champ, Chile Aquiles, Neil Simpson, Under a Microscope. Everyone that donated with the super chat as well, guys. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Max Palacios. If I forgot anybody, we do have to go. But shout out to you, fellas. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Thanks again. Oh, slap.